hello there, everybody. I'm very well, thank you for asking. But I'm not good enough that I forgot to change the fucking opening meme from the show I did 2 days ago. That is unforgivable. You are more than entitled to tell me to go fuck myself, I think, at that point. That's very poor. Anyway, apologies I wasn't here yesterday. Birmingham City Football Club won another game of football, and I was sort of pre-drinking my sorrows away, which might sound silly because they won, right? So you're thinking, oh, Kev will be happy about that. I'm very uncomfortable with the entire situation, if I'm honest with you. It's the hope that kills you, isn't it? It's the hope that kills you, and so the fact that they're giving me genuine hope, they look rather good actually, and are collecting points and all the rest of it, doing very well, is not a comfortable place for me to be. It's not a comfortable place for me to be. I'm used to them being fucking dreadful and letting me down. What I'm not used to, and what I can't necessarily deal with, is them being good and then fucking me. Like, if I know their shit from the start, I can just sort of deal with that. That's a comfortable... Like, that's the Kev's normal place, okay? I'm in the swamp. I'm a creature of the swamp. I've lived in the swamp. It's fine. It's when you go to the nice air-conditioned place, and then you go back to the swamp. So I was pre-drinking the pain away of that. Does that make sense? Probably not. Some dickheads being very loud outside on a school night. You like my hair? Well, thank you. I've done literally nothing with it. I got in the shower, I let water and shampoo on it, then I dried it, and here it is. I haven't purposefully placed a single strand of hair at all on my head today. So, you know. It's the summer holidays, Kev. Okay, well, yeah, but people still got to go to work. Anyway, you get the idea. We're going to be on with No Justice, Marjorie Taylor Greene in just a second. So, that's what we've got planned. Yes. How is everybody? Are you well? Have you enjoyed your weekend? I have, for the most part. I did watch Man United be dreadful for a couple of hours, which was sort of fun, but also very boring in a sense. They are fucking dreadful. How'd you spend that much money to be that shite? Relegation fodder at that cost. Jesus. Where's the... What am I looking for? No, I'm not looking for that one. No. There we go. Apologies, everyone. I'm still getting used to this whole streaming thing after several years of doing it. Yes, use the microphone and camera, you fucking knobhead. I mean, you won't be able to use the camera because I'm already using the fucking camera, but you can. You can have access to be turned down. Anyway, yeah, you can give me money in the form of bits and sobs and YouTube and super chats and what's the other one? Bits messages. Bits messages are a thing. Chelsea won on Friday, woke up to tonsillitis on Saturday. Well, there's a... I mean, are you suggesting there is a connection between those two things? Are Chelsea doing well? Is that like your picture of Dorian Gray situation? If Chelsea do really well, you become like worse and worse in terms of health. I hope not. That would be terrible. That would be an awful situation. What God would allow such a thing? What the fuck am I talking about? I talk such bollocks on this fucking show, man. Oh my word. Anyway, we've got... This is going to be a relatively lazy show, I feel. I think this is going to be an appropriately lazy show. Because there's news, but like... Not that much to get your teeth into as such, you know? I don't know. Like, we could talk about, like, I don't know, Israel or whatever, and that's, yeah, that we could do that. But if you don't have, like, I don't know. There's not. I don't know what to report on that really, other than it's bad. Hello there, No Justice Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I am famous anti-Zionist icon Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Outflanking the entire Democratic Party to the left.
Indeed so. Indeed so.
In opposing genocide, albeit possibly for slightly racist reasons, but like.
I mean,
Yeah.
probably partially the racist reasons, probably just like, well, if the genocide was free, I think she'd be for it. But she's realised that the genocide costs American public money.
Which is
And
fun
so
that
does
she's
our.
now found that out. Many years
Yeah.
after joining the Republican Party, whose core foreign policy goal is Israel can do whatever the fuck it likes. At our
Literally.
expense. Yeah. Which is interesting that she's now coming out with this. But yeah, I mean, look, I don't know how they felt. Like, this is always the dichotomy, I suppose, within the Republican Party, of wanting to have giving out no money whatsoever whilst also buying the entire world in the form of, like, you know, essentially buying friendship from places like Pakistan and Saudi Arabia and you know.
Oh, it's just funny because American right wingers have kind of like half understood and half completely got the wrong end of the stick, right? Like, right wingers in America are in this position where they're like, oh, we don't want to have to spend all this money abroad because we're the richest country in the world, right? We should be spending on our own citizens. I'm like, why do you think you're the richest country in the world? How do you think that came to be? How do you think that American influence is so far?
Well, they just worked harder than everyone else at doing imperialism. But that's still a kind of work, if you think about it, for no amount of time. Anyway, yes, enough American nonsense. I think we need to start over here in the UK with. I don't even know how to describe this, really. It's Nigel Farage. That is all I can say at this point. Is that
I mean,
it is.
Farage is as Farage does.
Indeed. Hang on, I need to fucking share that with you as well, don't I? Yeah.
Broke the plan with a rod and pint. 2029 now looks so right.
Now, couple of clues that this might be AI. Firstly, he's in Clacton, so like obviously not real. And secondly,
it's like a disguise.
Yeah, and secondly, he's with black people, which he would never ever do willingly. So, like, again, very, very sharp-eyed viewers, I think, may have noticed that this might not be entirely real. See, it's not Nigel Farage, it's Nigel Garage.
Garage. He says over a house track.
Yeah, but I mean, he's a crusty old white man. This is as close as he's ever gotten to urban culture.
I mean, it's just again, what's so frustrating about so many things like this, right? It's, you know, there's going to be like a non-zero number of people who are going to be taken in by it. Like, how gullible do you have to be to not understand that this is pandering?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, 100%.
It's just like when Keir Starmer like fucking did this the Labour conference, right, with Union Jacks everywhere, and I'm just like, yeah, no one buys that you're suddenly this British nationalist all of a sudden. You're just doing things to try and fucking pander to people, and people just get won over by, oh, the Labour Party clearly has changed. I'm like, well, it's changed because it's more right wing now, but. Did you think the guy who was talking in complete opposite terms, or the entire conference full of people who were talking in opposite terms, fucking not a year before? Do you think they've all changed immediately overnight? Of course they haven't. Like, do you think Nigel Farage cares about like pumping house music? No.
No, he does not. Hello there, My Left Eye. Thank you for the raid arena, my friend. Everyone go and follow My Left Eye immediately. My Left Eye is a based leftist on the YouTubes. Should we look at some not based ones? In what is totally not just lazy slop of us reacting to nonsense.
Indeed. So
It's not that.
Also,
It's not that. No.
I'll also respond to Jim Speak debunking the idea of abolishing the asylum system. Well, it means leaving the. Doesn't mean actually. Whilst people think that it's the European Convention on Human Rights that they need to leave to stop people claiming asylum, that's not actually true. It's the Refugee Convention that we sign up to that means we take in asylum seekers. The reason people don't like the European Convention on Human Rights is because it's a higher power of human rights to try and avoid deportation in lots of cases because you're a criminal, for example. You've committed a criminal offence at some point, right? But you can be denied, you can deny a country the right to deport someone under, right to family life, right to privacy, if the place they'll be deported to doesn't fit within that purview of human rights. So the ECHR is about deporting potentially successful asylum seekers or other people who've migrated here through regular means, but who've committed crimes who you want to deport, but then you can't deport. And that's the big thing that people don't like the ECHR for, is stopping deportations of people who you don't want and who you have a legitimate reason to want to deport outside of human rights concerns. Yeah. The Refugee Convention is the one that you need to leave so that you just stop taking in asylum seekers prima facie.
Whereas I think Nigel Farage's thing is he's just going to fire them out of a cannon across the channel. I don't think he has any plan of where he's going to send all these mass deportees.
Well, I think he's going to do what Trump wants and create a massive, insane asylum, because that's what Trump thinks asylum means.
Literally, that is literally what he thinks. His brain has gone. Totally gone. But, it was never working functionally that well, even in the 70s, so...
No.
Yes. Anyway, Maltas.
Stop it. Get some help.
And I mean, look, I quite like Graham in his own way. I think he reminds me a little bit of like a battered wife or something. Like, she wants to leave, but she just can't.
The problem, of course, is that all he cares about is the European Union. That's literally all he cares about, because he literally stood as a fucking Lib Dem councillor. It's so frustrating to me. And he's an independent candidate too. He just goes like, the Labour Party is the important thing and you need to beat the Tories this way. Apart from specifically in 2019. Apart from specifically that election because of Brexit. And that was the election where Labour had a fucking second referendum policy that cost them the bloody election.
Yeah.
So he's just, again, this guy has no principles. All he cares about is whether or not that he can go travelling. Because that's first of all, he does, right? Understandable. But to essentially... undermine the entirety of the opposition, the main opposition to the Conservative Party, over what your visa allows you to do without having to go through the long queue at passport control when travelling to European countries, that is not as relevant, I don't think.
Have you told that woman's dog that it can't go skiing?
Literally.
Have you looked into its eyes and told it that?
I have done.
You're a monster. You're a monster. Heartless. How can global warming be real when your heart is so cold? Anyway, whereas Phil is a knobhead. Phil's just a knobhead. I want to debate him, which, I mean, it would help if I contacted him, I suppose. But, like, if someone else wants to do that on my behalf in chat, that's fine, go for it. Because I don't think he'd want to, because I'm not very respectability politics, you understand. But I would like to, because he's just... so full of shit. Did you hear him? I don't know if you did. I don't know how much you watch about other people's stuff, but like he was on with, I think he might have been on with Yamania as well. He was discussing Jeremy Corbyn, as they always do, because they're fucking obsessed, and saying that Jeremy Corbyn was pro-genocide.
Pardon, sorry?
Saying that Jeremy Corbyn, Jeremy Corbyn, the man who I jokingly referred to as Hitler, but isn't actually Hitler. That he said he was pro-genocide. And then went on to list a series of genocides that apparently he hadn't mentioned or ever talked about before. And then we did quick Google searches and he'd mentioned all of them. Up to and including one of them that he said he'd never mentioned, he mentioned as leader of the opposition at Prime Minister's questions to the Prime Minister.
Oh yeah, it was one of the part of the big badge debunking. Big Madge, great video by Big Madge.
Yes, Big Madge. Everyone check out Big Madge. Awesome work. Yeah. So being confidently wrong about stuff is sort of the only club he has in his bag.
Well, I think he's not confidently wrong. He's just a liar. I think fundamentally he's a liar.
Well, I mean that's what confidently being wrong is, I suppose. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. But being wrong implies that. I mean, yeah, you don't know, but like, it's not ignorant. It's not. It's wrong, but not out of ignorance, but out of malice. I think. I think he knows full well that Jeremy Corbyn opposes genocides all across the world. I think he knows that that's true. He just has a fucking visceral hatred of him because I don't know. I genuinely don't know what he could possibly have against Jeremy Corbyn.
Because Labour or something.
It's
Anyway,
funny.
apparently Labour may have lurched to the right. Did you hear about this?
Potentially so.
Yeah, at some point they may have moved not to the left. We'll see how Phil
At some
reacts
point,
to that.
yeah.
But what I wanted to talk about today is Labour's lurch to the right. Can we talk about this?
Which one's this?
Well, after
Is this an actual lurch to the right, or am I going to pick you up on the fact
I
it's
mean,
actually
pause.
more socially conservative?
possibly? Well, it's
What?
I mean, well, the social conservatism is right wing, but go off. Anyway, like, speaking of which, did you not see what they announced today, which is that they're going to stop people who shoplift from going on holiday?
Yeah, people who've been in prison, they're gonna also be punished when they're released, therefore making being released not that worthwhile, frankly. Like,
Also,
surely
just
the
like-
punishment ends at the you getting out of jail bit. No?
No, not just in general. Like, well, in the case of violent criminals, which this will also apply to, surely you want them out of the country.
Yeah, exactly. Export our criminals to foreign parts. Yeah, why
Literally,
not? And then just
yeah, just
every
like-
country can just be full of other people's criminals. And it's just a merry-go-round of foreign criminals everywhere. And there are no people who are ever from a place who aren't criminal. Everyone's a criminal. And to be fair, this is the thing, right? We said this at the time of the Labour Party's election, that they so didn't have any plans that their only thing was going to be just do reactionary shit. Because that's the only thing they know is to just be reactionary towards like the left within their own within their own party, and so just go with what the Daily Mail wants. Basically,
Literally.
cut each page of the Daily Mail out and then throw it up in the air and pick one, and do whatever that policy is, and that's
Yeah, well,
basically
Labour-
how they've been governing.
Yeah, all Labour ministers know how to do is eat hot chip, lie, do crackdowns.
Yeah, do crackdowns, support genocide. Yeah, it's awesome.
Eat hot chip and lie. That's it.
Yeah, literally. And also compare members of the opposition to noted pedophiles is a thing that they sometimes do, which is just weird.
The protector, you were there to protect Jimmy Savile. Apparently, said the party led by the man who didn't prosecute him as chair of the.
Well, that's
Crown
what's so
Prosecution
funny about
Service.
the flag shaggers. Like he's trying to be like on the side of the flag shaggers, and like motherfucker, these people think that you personally intervened to ensure that Jimmy Savile walked free and faced no punishment. They think you're a literal like demon monster pederast. They're never voting for you. Why are you trying to get them to vote for you, and losing everyone who might possibly have voted for you in the process? Spectacular work.
isn't that more right? Isn't social conservatism?
No, I really do. And the more this happens, the more politics fragmented, the more I actually think it's important to be clear about what we're talking about.
Okay.
It arguably didn't matter at one time where, broadly speaking, the mainstream left was socially reasonably progressive and the mainstream right was by and large socially conservative. But now it's all fragmenting. I think it's more important we're clear about what we mean.
Okay, but
fuck are you
from my
talking
point
But what
of
is the latest one?
well, we've had Graham Stringer, Labour MP,
Oh, him,
saying
yeah, that one, yeah.
we need to leave the
Yeah.
European Convention on Human Rights.
So, yeah.
Oh, good point on this one. This is the same Graham Stringer who is the chair, or at least some kind of noted member of a climate skeptic Tufton Street think tank.
Wow, only the best candidates.
The highest quality.
Brilliant.
And also the
I
use
have-
of the word illegal when talking about asylum seekers, and
Yeah.
mirroring some of the rhetoric, echoing some of the rhetoric
Yeah.
of refuck.
What I would say on that one is Labour, that's not a direction Labour are going in, that's one Labour MP. But I will say this, and I did say this on Twitter.
That's
So-
true. That's not the leadership of the Labour Party. That's just one MP, because actually the leadership are more right wing, because they wouldn't just echo Reform UK. They will echo the rivers of fucking blood.
True.
They honestly just echoing Reform Party is cock shit. Get on Starmer's fucking level.
On top of this as well, like, you can say, oh, well, this is just one MP. But I will go back to my previous statement about high quality candidates, right? The views of singular MPs that were outside of what the party deemed as the acceptable viewpoints that you were going to hold was enough to get people removed from shortlists, removed from long lists, having the whip taken away, being expelled from the party, or just
But no,
refusing to be...
that was having views to the left of the leadership. You can be more right wing than the leadership. That's absolutely fine, because that's the direction of travel. You're merely you're like the bridge ahead of the leadership that they will cross to become that right wing.
It's true. But I mean, you make a very good point insofar as yes, what we are demonstrating here is the hypocrisy of both the leadership and their sycophants in assuming that the level to which that you have to prune the hedges to ensure that it's uniform are only allowed on the left-hand side of the hedge.
Yes, the Labour pubic bush is a little lopsided. It has to be.
Quite so.
So there are lots of different views within Labour, and a lot of those views are very much...
Are there lots of views? Are there any other views? What are the other views? Because there seems to be one view, and it comes from 10 Downing Street. And that is all.
pulling against each other now because of the
Yes.
fragment. This is about the fragmentation of British politics having an effect on Labour rather than Labour having an effect on British politics. So this is hitting Labour. So everyone's pulling. These views were always there in Labour. Not this latest one from Stringer, but generally speaking, lots of these diverse views were always there. They just didn't pull like they are now. But what I would say is this, like every party has its one thing that unites everyone. And for Labour's, it's workers' rights. Like some people say, oh, this is a core value.
You sure? You sure
Should we
about
ask? Should we ask former member of the Confederation of British Industry, Keir Mather, given that the CBI have vociferously opposed those workers' rights? Do you think he is part of that common cause, Phil, or do you think he's only there because he wanted to have access to what he thought was the political party that was most likely to be the opposition to the Conservatives at the time?
Do you think former Conservative Member of Parliament Christian Wakeford is enormously pro-workers' rights?
Yeah, or indeed previous rape defender or rapist defender, fucking Natalie Elphicke. Was it sexual? It might have been sexual assault. I think it might have been. Oh, sorry, I'll reframe what I said. Like because her husband was convicted in sexual assault and she defended him. And does she believe in workers' rights? I mean, she literally said, I stood up in Parliament, did a whole fucking speech during the minimum service levels bill about why unions were terrible.
Yeah. Or, the former head of the, what do you call it, editor of The Sun, who now does the PR. Not PR, what am I talking about? Communications. Yeah, like, just basically every single part of this is wrong. Like, they've done some stuff about workers' rights, and I don't think that bill's necessarily bad, but it was watered down. We know it was watered down. But don't worry, we've got our great leftist queen who's just bought a third house, who's the Deputy Prime Minister, so, she'll definitely make it all work out well in the end, I'm sure. She has our best interests at heart.
Yay.
Value of Labour. This is a core value. No, none of those are core values of Labour. The only core value of Labour is workers' rights. Literally it.
What? That's literally the only thing. So no internationalism has ever been a part of the party? That's never happened. That's never been a thing.
I mean, it's a democratic socialist party. It's as simple as that, right? Or at least it used to be.
Well, yeah, exactly. It used to be. Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole point of having a party constitution. But having core values that are fundamental to the party is based upon those constitutional clauses, right?
Yeah.
Now, of course, in a post-clause 4 world, who fucking cares about that,
Yeah.
But those things are all supposed to be shared values, and yet they seem to completely fall by the wayside when it comes to Keir Starmer's, his ambitions of being
Although-
Billy Big Bollocks.
Yeah, although at least he's admitting openly that they've just abandoned any concept of human rights. Because they don't give a fuck about that. It's just workers' rights. It's fine. Okay, cool. Awesome. Kev, can you please debate Phil or either in... well, I'll try and debate him, but I don't know if he'll be interested, in all honesty. I don't know. I think I've called him a melter too many times. I don't know. Anyway, you can also give us both money for the hard work we're putting in here. So much hard work.
What I would suggest here is that's the thing that I would have said unified everyone in Labour from Jeremy Corbyn to Tony Blair. And now we've got a Labour...
Okay.
Tony Blair? What?
What about the West Streeting who said that the doctors shouldn't go on strike, and if they did, they'd lose?
Yeah, they're currently in at least in two separate strike actions, advising union members to cross picket lines in the UK right now. That's what they're doing. But, you know, they're so massively up on workers' rights and stuff. Yeah. One of their shadow ministers was fired for going on a picket line as well.
One of their ministers was fired for calling somebody who quite literally broke the law, a company that broke the law, as a rogue operator, and they were fired from the front bench. They're fired from the cabinet.
Yeah, yeah. But, you know, so massively pro-workers' rights, you understand.
MP who is suggesting that workers, it's not exclusively for workers, but it includes workers, that workers should lose some of their most important rights. And I cannot believe what I'm hearing, is what I would say on that. Because this is beyond all of the others. This isn't like the socially conservative stuff that's coming about immigration and, you know, trans rights and stuff like that. This is...
Oh, that's fine. I'm happy to shit on those groups. That's absolutely lovely. Those groups can go fuck themselves explicitly, Phil is saying here. But workers' rights is different.
But on top of that, like, do you think that trans people don't work? Do you think they don't need to use the toilet at work?
No, trans people don't work. They just they dry their hands with their penis in the toilet. A thing that totally happens and would work.
It's totally separate, because what you're doing here is specifically saying that tens of millions of workers in this country should lose their human rights.
Yes.
And I cannot believe a Labour MP says that.
And
Why? What? Labour MPs are dog shit. One of them's a fucking... Well, not one of them. Several of them are slum landlords. Why do you not think that... What do you think that they're all fucking angels? I bet I could find one Labour MP that would want to reintroduce slavery or something. Like... fucking hell.
setting things up that if Farage does get in, because you could argue, if you wanted to, that Australia and Canada and Singapore, maybe not Singapore, but you know, Japan they're not signatories to the European Convention on Human Rights. And they have rights, they have freedoms, they have free and fair elections, and it's like, yeah, but the worry is we don't have a written constitution.
But they don't have the same rights.
Yeah, and if
that's what they try and say.
Farage gets in without those safety rails of the European Convention on Human Rights, he can run amok, which he will do.
Yeah,
Well, but he'll just remove us from it anyway. Like, there were going to be legal problems with that, of course, but do you think Nigel Farage gives a fuck about legal niceties?
I mean, in the same way that Trump doesn't.
Yeah.
You'll have a elective dictatorship in the Commons, right?
Yeah.
And the
Which
current...
effectively you sort of have now anyway, but even worse with Farage, I imagine.
Yeah, and like, not only could he just put it in the manifesto, then there's nothing stopping them. The Lords can't stop them if it's in the manifesto. You just pass it via the Parliament Act and the Lords can put up or shut up. And if they want to go extra to the manifesto, oh well, I guess they're going to have to rely on the plurality chamber. I guess they have to rely on the party plurality in the Lords, which is with the Conservative Party, who at the time of recording, obviously are under Kemi Badenoch, but in the future it'll be fucking Robert Jenrick, who is to the right of Nigel Farage.
Who was that person you mentioned before?
Some person. There used to be Nigerian,
Kevin
I think.
something. Who? What? Whoever that is, yeah. But no, you are going to have, I think, after the next election, the most bizarre situation and the most untenable democratically of a Conservative Party with like 30 MPs still having the majority of fucking Lords. No, that's
at least a
ridiculous.
plurality, yeah.
Or a plurality. Yeah, they're going to be the largest party in the Lords, unless there's a mass die-off, which, you know, fingers crossed, but you can't guarantee it. It's always possible. They're in their fucking 80s. I'm not suggesting anything bad happen, you know, but pandemics, not always bad. Just saying. Yeah, they're going to be the biggest party in the Lords with like no MPs. It's going to be ridiculous. As if the Lords weren't bad enough already.
That's what you were. And the thing is, like, because that's what they'll say. They'll say, well, these other countries don't have them. As if we will do, because that's what the Conservative tried to do. Because remember Boris Johnson, this is what I was worried about, the 2019 Conservative election manifesto when they won, because they were going to do that. And they said to calm people down, they'll replace it with a Bill of Rights. So people, and this is what they'll think with Farage. It's like, we won't lose our human rights, Phil, don't be silly. We're just going to lose the bits that give asylum seekers their human rights, or foreigners their human rights. So everyone else they'll just...
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah, they just want to take the human rights away from foreigners. They basically don't care if they lose their own rights in the process, it seems.
Well, fundamentally, they believe as they're part of the in-group, the rights that they are losing, they will not be infringed upon because they see themselves as being protected by the state without that guardrail of an international rights consensus backing it. They don't think that they'll ever be on the receiving end of poor policy or state repression from the government. They think it'll only be from the out-group because they've sided with the powerful. That's fundamentally what they believe. I made this point on stream when talking about Nigel Farage's fucking nutcase Taliban normalization deportation plans, right? Insofar as we have to leave the torture convention, and I'll not be tortured. I'm part of the in-group. I'm a British citizen. Nigel Farage won't do that to me. Maybe he won't. But now you're outside the European Convention on Human Rights. There can be a Marxist-Leninist vanguard party destroy the capitalist country that you've come to know and love, and will quite happily put you in the fucking gulag.
Yeah.
And if they do, you will have nobody to be able to appeal to because you'll be outside the European Convention on Human Rights.
Talking of the in-group and the out-group, the flag shaggers, you knew they couldn't keep it in their pants very long. Here we go, David Atherton. Suck it up, Buttercup. I thought the flag was all about unity and like us all being together and was totally not about racism, even though you've taken a picture of a Muslim woman crossing as if... And not just that, but in a way where she clearly isn't bothered by it. She's just crossing across the fucking road, and yet you've taken a picture and decided to make it racist for no fucking reason.
That's the thing. Is that if they were just putting up flags because they wanted to put up flags because they liked flags, no one would fucking care, and this whole thing wouldn't be a story. But they're deliberately doing it because they are trying to make a political statement, and therefore they have made it divisive because they want it. They've made it divisive because they want it to be divisive.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the point I made on Novara the other day, and I was just like, well, hang on a minute. It's the government policy to encourage people to put up flags.
Yeah, that's
government policy, right? You're allowed to put up flags. You're not allowed to do it on fucking lampposts that are owned by the highway authority. Yeah. You're not allowed to graffiti the road. Yeah. You know, these are public instruments.
Well, this is the thing. Why does their like support or their celebration of the country always just look like graffiti, violence, and racism, and never like actually anything good about the country?
Because it's weird, because I see loads of flags, I don't know, during the World Cup and during the Euros. Yeah. I see loads of them, and no one has ever said, this is intimidating. People think that it might be because they saw a post on Facebook one time which said, this Muslim that's been generated by AI says that flying the St. George's Cross at the World Cup or on St. George's Day is racist. Share if you think this is a disgrace. And then you believed it because you're a fucking moron.
Well, I mean, a genuine... I thought this must be a spoof from Stuart Lee or something. Someone tweeted out, and he got loads of retweets and stuff, saying you get arrested for saying that you like bacon in the UK.
Oh, it was Isabel Oakeshott. It's a fucking entire ass article about how if you say you like bacon to a Muslim, you get arrested.
Do they think that bacon is like kryptonite to Muslims?
Yeah.
They just don't eat it. They're not like allergic to it. They don't like, oh no, he mentioned the B word, we must run away. No, it's fine. No one gives a fuck.
I think I think they think it's because there's this kind of deification of pigs, so you can't eat pigs because they're sacred. When in reality, it's because
No,
it
it's-
comes back from a time where cooking practices weren't standardized,
Yeah.
and a bunch of the Abrahamic religions, as part of their kind of rules to live by, said, maybe don't eat pork, might kill you.
Yeah, it's not ideal. Yeah. Also,
Let's
it's sort of
literally
become. It's become. I mean, that was the real reason why it was banned, of course. But it's become sort of the opposite of deification, where the pig is seen as dirty. We don't eat it because it's dirty, and you think like, cows roll around in shit as well. Like they're not any cleaner, really. You've just made up like a silly lie about that. It's got nothing to do with it being dirty.
Exactly. But the Isabel Oakeshott article is incredibly funny because she is somebody who deliberately moved from very pro-bacon Britain to very anti-bacon Dubai,
Yeah.
the United Arab Emirates. Tells you something.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I can't stand these foreigners having a word on us. She's foreigner now. She's from Dubai. Simple.
Literally, she's literally a foreigner now. That's the thing, right? Is that when it comes to like the flag stuff, it's just there've been so many times we've raised flags. We had flags all over the country during the Jubilee. No one said, "Oh, these are racist
The
Jubilee
Platty
flags."
Jews.
No one said it then. No one said it during the Euros. No one says it during the World Cup. No one says it on St George's Day.
Yeah.
But when there is a coordinated campaign amongst people, a lot of groups who have ties to the far right who are doing it at a time of social unrest because of people getting mad about asylum seekers, maybe it might look like it's being done to intimidate people or being done because of for ultra nationalist tendency. Maybe that's why now it's getting a pushback.
Yeah. No one's actually offended. Like they act as if the flag is itself offensive. No one cares. I couldn't give a shit. No. Fly your flag. I don't give a fuck. And by the way, neither did the council. Just don't do it on fucking lampposts.
Literally.
Because they took down Palestine flags as well. They took down all of the fucking flags. It's not.
Rightly so. They should not be having Palestine flags on lampposts without authorization from the highway authorities, which they didn't. Take them down.
Yeah. That's
By all
absolutely
means.
fine.
By all means. It's also very funny to me. That these are the same people, these same reform voters, who are getting fucking their knickers in a twist over councils that have pride flags.
Yeah.
Or Birmingham City Council lighting the building up in the colours of the Pakistani flag because of Pakistani Independence Day.
Oh well, I
I'm
was.
like-
Oh god, I was watching a fucking Saga of a cat video. Ugh. And he was bitching about that, and I'm like, motherfucker, they lit up the library in a different colour than they would usually do, for one day. That's it. Like, and I literally showed you within 200 yards of that perspective. Well, a bit more than 300, 400 yards of that building is the council chamber. Outside of which, on a massive pole, every single day of the year is a Union Jack. So where's your fucking problem? Like, the Union Jack's there all year round. They give the Pakistani thing one day, and it wasn't even a flag, it was the colour green. They didn't put a fucking... It's not like they put a minaret on the fucking library. They coloured it green, and then they did the same, they coloured it orange for the Indian thing. Because they just sort of flexing that they've got all these colours. Otherwise it's just boring if it's blue every fucking day. Jesus.
Well, so someone in my chat is saying they're not far right. They just want to keep their kids safe. I'm like, they didn't protest all of the. If they think that there's something about asylum seekers or refugees that is problematic, right? Where were the protests about the Ukrainian or the Hong Kong scheme?
Yep.
Why is it specifically these asylum seekers are not the ones coming from Ukraine and Hong Kong that they suddenly believe are a massive risk to children? Because there's no
Also-
evidence for this. There's no evidence that there's just this massive risk for people being a threat to children. I mean, the men broadly are, but unless your idea is let's get rid of all men, right? Let's deport all of the men, then unfortunately your kids will never be safe because there are always going to be men in society.
Yes. If you are, welcome aboard, sister. You are the radical feminist of radical feminists. You're just going to eliminate men from society. Well done. I mean, look, if this was seriously a thing about protecting women and girls, why do so many of the people arrested during these protests have priors for domestic abuse?
40%.
Yeah, huge numbers of them, have domestic abuse, so beating their children and their spouses. That's what happens, okay? And they're being arrested by people who also have priors for domestic, because the police are also scum. You understand?
We'll just have a Bill of Rights. No, we won't. They will introduce a Bill of Rights. It will be missing an awful lot of our rights. We will, because those other countries do not. It's not that they don't have any human rights. I'm not saying Australians don't have any human rights. They do not.
Well, to be fair, Australians aren't human, so that's fine. Why would they have
I mean,
human
they are
rights?
humans. They are humans. They're just upside down.
Oh, is that what it is? I thought. Oh, okay. I thought they were just weird, like freak creatures with eyes on the bottom of their feet, and then the feet of faces. Ah, it didn't make any sense.
So the
Have
person in
the
chat
right.
is saying it's just pure lie to feed on narratives, and this is the same person who's trying to imply that all asylum seekers are rapists. Like, yeah, yeah, the well-woven narrative of like all asylum seekers are there to rape children. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's very silly, my man. Come on, you know that's nonsense. Like, you'll notice when it's a white guy that does it, no one's breaking into Greg's, are they, chap? Come on. Let's not be fucking silly. You know exactly what this is about, and it's not about protecting anybody. Marcus, I don't know if this is technically illegal. You can guarantee a mass die-off in the Lords, but the last time someone tried that, you guys got all huffy. Now, we've talked about how you definitely can't say I support Palestine action, because that would be illegal and terrorism. Was Guy Fawkes and the broader gunpowder plotters, were they ever technically designated as terrorists? Can you say, like, could you say, for instance, I support John Johnson, which was the name he gave when he was arrested? Could you say that? I don't know. I'll leave that to the legal scholars of the 17th century.
Crucially, Kevin, he had one thing going for him. He was white.
He was very white, yeah.
But he also wasn't an old lady either. And those are the only two kinds of terrorists that there are.
True, although he was a bit woke. He had lived on the continent, so he was a bit European. Guido, chap, yeah, get in the fucking cell.
We have.
Yeah.
So they will not just copy a British version. I mean, there's multiple problems with it, by the way. But just in isolation, they will not just copy the European Convention on Human Rights and not make it applicable to foreigners. That is not what they will do. We will lose them. But then there's also other things. There are the other things. For example, it destroys.
Okay, also, just as I've thought about this, if the person in your chat is still there, I don't know if they are, I presume, given that you care so much about the protection of women and girls, that you will be protesting the arrival of Donald Trump for his state visit. Given that this is a man who, by his own admission, in court statements, raped and beat his former, now dead wife, and is, let's be honest, a massive pederast.
I mean, he's found civilly culpable for rape?
Yeah. So I presume you'll not want that foreign criminal to be allowed into the country, yeah?
Yep.
I imagine the same people will not be protesting his arrival. Just a thought.
And again,
Well,
he's someone
international-
he's a single person who's been proven to have done it,
Yeah.
rather than 10,000 asylum seekers that they seem to suspect are all wrong-uns with no evidence.
And Donald Trump's not even white, he's orange. Doesn't even make sense.
Some fucking alien species.
True.
treaties.
Sorry, just come to that in a moment about international treaties. One Angry Pagan's dropped another super chat in. Thank you. £2. I wonder how Labour's co-op party colleagues feel. Well, exactly, because it is the Labour and Cooperative Party. And then Ivan, thank you very much for the £5 super chat, my friend. Have I missed something about the lack of descriptions in the streams? Is it a change of strategy? No.
Oh yeah, he explains about this. He goes on for fucking ages. Sorry, I've watched like the first 5-10 minutes of this.
Political infrastructure. This completely destroys it because the Good Friday Agreement is, you would have to completely renegotiate it because it's built on the European. It's built on the idea of two things: that there is common free travel between Britain and Ireland, which remained after Brexit, and secondly, our joint commitment to the European Convention on Human Rights.
Yes.
And so with Brexit, we maintained the free travel area between Britain and Ireland,
Yeah.
but
To be fair, the IRA did that about 30 years ago, mate. You couldn't put you couldn't put a booth there because they kept blowing them up. Like,
Oh, this one's gone as well.
exactly. It's like, why do all of these people we keep putting guards there and they come back with holes in them. And eventually they stopped and then people could just walk. It was fine.
and we've
Look,
also
I don't want to be that guy, but like, let's be honest, that situation was not solved entirely amicably. Just putting it that way.
maintained our common, because that was the one that was mostly under threat when people were saying how Brexit
Is
would.
Ireland still a part of the UK? Technically, the 6 counties of the north, in a legal sense, are a part of the United Kingdom. I don't accept that as being legitimate or the case, but legally speaking, they are, yes.
What's this is a really great, funny. It's a really important point to make. Is that people keep saying, "Well, Israel has a right to exist." I'm like, "Well, no state has a right to exist," and you know that they don't, because the entire existence of Northern Ireland is entirely dependent upon there not being a majoritarian support for reunification. Right? Like, it is written into the Belfast Agreement that if at any point it looks likely that a border poll will go in favour of reunification, the referendum must be had. There must be a border poll, and obviously, given that that is the premise, is that they would almost certainly end up being done in favour of reunification. It would end up being dissolved
Yeah.
as a constituent state of the United Kingdom.
Well, this is the thing, right? It always annoys you when they're going about Israel's right to exist. Within Europe, in the lifetime of Israel, we've lost Czechoslovakia, the USSR, Yugoslavia. Any other countries? What was that? Sorry.
R.I.P.
Well, I mean, regardless of whether you think there's a good or bad things, those countries did exist before Israel, and now they don't. Countries come and go. Countries much more large and powerful than Israel have come and gone, and will do so in the future. No one has a right to exist. The only right to exist is in existence itself. You continue to exist by continuing to exist.
Exactly, and that's what's so funny about it as well, is that, like, the independent state of Croatia. Imagine if they said, "Oh, we have a right to exist." I'm like, no, you did all the bad things, you know. And they also use the language that they use is awful as well, where they say things like, "Oh well, yeah, they have their plan to annihilate Israel." I'm like, no, you can't annihilate a state.
Yeah.
You dissolve a state.
Yeah.
A state is dissolved and is replaced with some kind of new polity.
Yeah, because
That's
again,
something-
all of those countries that existed that I mentioned that don't exist, the landmass is still there. They're just more countries than they used to be.
Exactly, and like they want people to think that the dissolution of the state of Israel would necessitate fucking nuking it, like Iran engaging a nuclear device. Or literally, they keep saying, "Or the Palestinians, if you took down the border on the West Bank, they would ethnically cleanse and genocide Jewish people." I'm like, well, like, no. First of all, that's not happening, and second of all, look, why do you think they're angry at you?
Yeah. Oh, East and West Germany, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Those are 2 countries that don't exist anymore. But again, the landmass still exists and the people are still there. It's fine. That they're actually better, I think, probably, as one, but whatever. Just like they would be better if everyone could just have one country called Palestine, where everyone just lived and no one had ethnic supremacy. That would be cool. Yeah.
Put pressure on the Good Friday Agreement. The main fear was the free movement. If you can't have free movement, then the Good
This
Friday
better get fucking spicier soon. I was promised right-wing nonsense from Labour supporters. Let's go.
Agreement can't exist.
Well, exactly.
So we managed to have a situation where we would still have the free movement with lots of fudges.
We fudge
But
it.
how
don't
do you do?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, how are you going to fudge? Like, literally, the only way we could fudge it with the European Convention of Human Rights is if we literally just copied it into British law. We've somehow left the European Council of Europe and literally just copied every word. In which case, what's the point?
Yeah.
They don't intend to copy every word.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, wouldn't you assume that then? Hang on a minute. it wasn't the whole point, especially from the Tories' perspective, is the Bill of Rights should basically copy the ECHR, just not when it comes to migration. Although they wanted, I guess they said they were going to ignore the ECHR when it came to migration or something. I don't know. Either way, but
Yeah, but I mean that's essentially what happened with Brexit anyway. So they just copied the pre-existing European laws into place, and then went, oh, and now we can change them ourselves. Which, like, okay, so I mean, in theory, that's probably what would just happen here. You would imagine, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I mean, it's so silly to get worked up about this, but it's become such a stupid, like, hot potato issue. And you can't help but feel that the likes of Lucy Connolly have won. Because on the day she was released, you've literally got on the front page of the fucking Mail, potentially the next Prime Minister, if the polling is correct, going on about mass deportations, which is literally what she called for in the tweet she got arrested for.
But it's not racist, though. How dare you call her a racist when she said, literally, if that makes me racist, so be it. Again, it was the whole that we watched, like, good like 60% of the interview she did on with the Telegraph, and just the fucking persecution complex is crazy talk.
Yeah, I was Starmer's political prisoner. No, you pled guilty. What, would you want the Prime Minister to personally step in and intervene in a legal matter? And say, no, you're not allowed to plead guilty. I refuse.
It's also, especially considering that the charges were sought by a Director of Public Prosecutions appointed by the Conservative Party, and she was charged under laws implemented by the Conservative Party.
Yeah, like, it's ridiculous. Like, you can argue she was given bad legal advice, very possibly, but ultimately it's not the legal system's job to deny her the right to plead guilty. And once she's pled guilty, it's a fait accompli at that point. Like, she's going to fucking prison. For a shorter amount of time, probably, but she's going to prison.
And I think we both agreed the sentence was probably too long. Like, that's a problem with the sentencing guidelines that are made fucking independently of Keir Starmer.
But also, let's bear in mind this two-tier justice system bullshit these fucking idiots go on about. There are still people in jail right now who planned to do public nuisance. Didn't threaten anyone. Weren't trying to hurt anybody, had no ill intent towards any human.
3.5 years for what has now been revealed was £150 worth of touch-up to a frame of one piece of artwork.
Yeah. Unbelievable shit. Also, going back to that fucking painting the road signs, I thought painting public property like that was terrorism. Isn't that terrorism? I thought that was terrorism. Oh, except, of course, that they can't tell us the violence that was being planned by Palestine Action that made them terrorists, except they can mention that it happened, because apparently that won't prejudice the case. So they can't give us specifics, but they can tell us that they definitely were violent, whilst it's still an ongoing
The evidence goes to another school, Kevin.
Yeah. I think they might be talking shit. Don't know about you.
I mean,
Also,
this is
pause.
The way
dangerous.
they
It's a
do it
dangerous
would
thing
mean-
for a
It
is
for a
incredibly
Labour
dangerous.
politician to say. This is part of Blue Labour, who I like. They got rid of the militant
But this is separate.
faction
It
in
is
the
part of Blue Labour.
1980s. So can we get rid of the Blue Labour lot? Because
There's a sense in which the answer to that is no, because like I keep saying, they do represent a massive chunk of voters. But they shouldn't... First of all, this is separate. Even though he is clearly part of the Blue Labour crowd. I don't know anything about him, by the way. But he's from Manchester, I think.
Yeah.
One of the Manchester MPs, I think.
yeah.
Stratford-on-Avon, is it?
This is a totally separate issue, because a lot of the Blue Labour stuff is in line with a lot of like voters. So it's like we shouldn't be giving them. The problem is they're dictating almost all social policy. In fact, if
Yes.
not actually all social
Also,
policy,
pause.
whereas they shouldn't.
Like, well, the issue, of course, is that there is no fucking mandate for this shit. There is
Yeah.
no
Oh,
mandate, right?
absolutely, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
if Mr. Blue Labour, right, if Keir Starmer had been honest about his fucking desires when he was running to be leader of the party, then there would be no problem. Obviously, none of us would be voting for Labour because we disagree with it, but at the very least, it would be the honest political positions that were being advocated for honestly by internal party members who had voted for someone on the grounds that they were going to be Blue Labour. Except they didn't say they'd be blue Labour. He said he'd be a progressive, and he has ripped up every progressive policy promise that he made during the leadership election. There is no mandate for this, Phil. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
if you want blue Labour, fucking join the Social Democratic Party.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be. They should have a say, but they shouldn't be dictating it all. But this is, I think this is separate, needs to be treated separately, because the other stuff doesn't go against core Labour values. There's lots of us in Labour who don't agree with it, but Labour has had different social attitudes over the years. This goes against workers' rights. This is an attack on work.
Also, did you see Keir Starmer up to his old tricks again?
Or the bus? Yeah.
No. He was. Hang on a minute. He's got certain predilections, which we've talked about in the past, and here he was, literally on the steps of Downing Street, wanking off a Ukrainian man. Unbelievable. I mean, he is technically the president, but that's not the point, okay? Because it's just a little Ukrainian. Oh, yeah. Still haven't heard about that terrorism. And still.
Also, speaking of Keir Starmer up to his old tricks, did you see him tweet out? Right, the Keir Starmer account tweeted out very specifically, "We have kept bus prices low. We've reduced bus prices with our £3 bus fare cap." And I'm like,
you raised it to £3, yeah.
Then about one, Chief.
Yeah.
I don't know, but very recent history, the buses used to be £2, and then there was an election, and then now the buses are £3.
True, and I mean, it's any wonder that I've warned about the Labour Party's issues they're going to have in the West Midlands at the next election. The West Midlands always been a pretty strong place for Labour, not necessarily part of the Northern Wall or anything, but they're going to go from all of the seats to literally 0 seats. That's where I live, by the way, everybody. Yeah. They're going to be 4 independents, basically pro-Palestine candidates of some variety, and then everyone else is going to be Reform. Well, can we just take a round of applause? You held control of basically all of the seats in Birmingham for like 50 years, and you fucking pissed it up the wall in 1 year.
It's going to be so funny where people said that Jeremy Corbyn destroyed the Red Wall because they lost like 50% of the seats that they'd hold on for quite a while in places like the Northwest and the West Midlands. Like they lost a couple of kind of key seats, and Keir Starmer will literally lead to entire cities, whole areas of the country, not just having every single seat.
Well, this is various cities. This is Wolverhampton. This is Walsall. This is Birmingham. This is is it Solihull's in there as well? Or that's sort of Labour, Tory Lib Dem anyway. But basically everywhere is going to go. Look, that's where the 2024 election, they got, 4/5 of the seats? And now they're literally going to get wiped out.
What didn't... Oh, yeah, I was going to say, what didn't go Labour? Oh, yeah, the 2 independents.
Well, there was 2 independents, and there's, like, one of the Solihull seats, and then a Sutton Coldfield, which is like essentially
Sutton Coldfield.
A kind of posh suburbs type place. Very nice place. I've been there many times. I had family there, but yeah, it is quite posh.
I remember Sutton Coldfield because one of the people who used to work at the Games Workshop that I went to when I was like 14 got a transfer up there.
Oh, nice.
The only connection I have to Sutton Coldfield.
Well, there you go. What a small world. That is entirely not what I meant to do. Fuck.
Sure, is it because the Good Friday Agreement?
Okay, we're not listening to that bollocks again. I'll just skip forward randomly, and we'll see where we are.
It's because he doesn't have any, and no one's really calling it out that he actually doesn't have any, or very few people are.
Yes.
So it's a complete dead end. They should be focusing on policies where they know they're going to get. They know they're not going to get the results. In the next election, they know that we're still, and it doesn't matter whether that accommodation's in hotels or some other form. They also know we are still going to use some hotels by 2029. But even if not, then they'll just turn to, which they're already doing, they'll just turn to...
It's amazing to me. So the Tories are incredible, right? So they introduced this entire fucking problem. This was never a problem before. They did this completely. And Tory councils are now being encouraged by the Tory party leadership to go to court to stop hotels from housing migrants that were housed there initially by the Tories.
Again, they're just. It's so funny to me. And you know what's great about it? You know what's really great? Do you know what it's done to the Tory polling? It's down 3 points.
Down 3 points, yeah. It's almost like just pretending to be flag shaggers it's too late. Like, that dam has burst. All Nigel Farage has to say is, you let in 1 million people in a year. And you're dead. Because that's the one thing that they really care about, that you specifically said for years and years you would do something about, and you did literally the opposite on fucking speed and crack.
And deliberately
Well
so
done.
to make it a salient issue. Right?
Yeah. Exactly. Well, they made it a salient issue. Well done. In the same way that a man who gets exploded by his own bomb has made that a salient issue. Yes. They're fucking useless.
And it's so funny to me. And what's great is that.
And you got
one
Robert
kind of
Jenrick, like he thinks he's going to win the entire thing back by climbing up a lamppost and having a photo op with a flag. Like, no one gives a fuck about you, you bitch. Shut up.
I mean, they do, I mean, to be fair, they do give a fuck about him. Because when he was immigration minister, he went on Sky News to brag about how many fucking asylum hotels that they had sequestered.
Okay, I take it back then. They do care. He's shit. He's dog shit.
It's just like he is the standard bearer for winning back the nut jobs from reform, and he's just like you are patient zero for all of the things that you fucked up.
Yep.
Well, where are they then? Where are they? Oh, they're in houses that British people need, right? Because although we're going to build more houses, we're not going to build enough by 2029. And then, you've got...
Hang a minute, Phil. Are you trying to tell me that the Labour promise to build 1.5 million homes was a lie?
No, it's not a lie. It's just a non-truth intentionally told to mislead, which is different and better.
It's from the Labour region, so it's just sparkling deception.
Exactly.
So, and we're not going to stop the boats because there's no deterrent.
Yep.
There's no deterrent. It's like the thing, isn't it? No one puts their...
Oh, God, it's like listening to the Tories again. It is. It basically is. Because they've got the same outlook on this, and it's the same approach to it. It's that every problem looks like a nail to the hammer, right? They don't understand that if you just opened up the safe routes, you would stop the boats. Pretty much instantly.
Just have an asylum processing centre in France.
Yeah.
Honestly. You know what? I'm kind of come round to the idea of having like a third country for processing. I can see a world in which having a third country for processing is fine because they're out of the community. You can still fund it so that they can have their claims processed, and if they're accepted, they can come to the UK, and if they're declined, they can be returned to origin or whatever it is, right? The issue, of course, is that I literally have zero confidence that any of the parties that would do wouldn't just turn it to fucking Manus Island or Nauru, like where the Australians, where people were literally fucking sewing their mouths shut in protest at the fucking torture they're being put through.
Oh no, absolutely.
That's the thing that happened on Manus Island.
But indeed, yeah, and that's precisely what they would turn it into. It would just become a concentration camp offshore.
Yeah, because it's not a problem. Because the issue with the Rwanda plan isn't. I mean, of course there were problems with Rwanda as a country. I don't think it was safe. There was a non-refoulement problem. It could potentially be going to war with the Democratic Republic of the Congo. All bad things. All really, all things we shouldn't do. But fundamentally, the biggest issue with the Rwanda scheme is that it was a dumping ground. Is that people would come to the UK to seek asylum, and we're going to dump you in Rwanda, whether their claim was valid or not.
Yeah.
If they have a valid claim, even under the system under Operation Sovereign Borders in Australia, if you are found to have an asylum claim that is legitimate, you do get transferred from Manus Island or Nauru or Papua New Guinea or whatever it is you're being processed offshore to Australia to become a citizen, to be as a refugee, by being granted refugee status. By all means, the system sucks because even at the time of recording, they're still torturing people on these fucking islands. It's still fucking subhuman the way these people get treated.
they've had I think 2 or 3 general elections since they opened. Nothing. It doesn't even get talked about. It's not. It literally, to quote one of the great philosophers of our age, it's not an issue.
Quite literally, because I mean, if you don't know, if there was like an empty Channel Island, which there isn't, where they could be, you could literally have
The Isle of
a
Wight
safe.
basically empty. A few people, but
Because you could just have you'd have a safe route to some kind of third country or third landmass for asylum processing, and then if their claim was successful, they could come to the UK. But again, first of all, there's no such place that would go. Second of all, people would, as soon as you say money is being spent, and at least some of that money is spent helping people come to the UK to claim asylum, people will just ignore it. And if they didn't ignore it, the government would use it as an opportunity to dramatically mistreat people who are coming here seeking refuge.
Yeah, I know it would be a human rights nightmare. Yeah,
Exactly, 100%, 100%.
yeah. Thank you, Scribby, for resubscribing. 40 months. I mean, honestly, that is. You've let yourself down, you've let your family down, but more importantly, you've let God down. Inshallah. But thank you. Yeah, and you can likewise. You can become a member. You can subscribe. You can do bits, messages, and super chats, and all of that funky shizzle on either myself or No Justice's channel, or both. It's not an either or.
A child in a boat unless the sea is less dangerous than the land.
Yep.
You know what the answer is then? Bring back Doggerland. Just have have a land bridge with Netherlands and Belgium. Let's go.
Let's fucking go.
Let's have it. It was there once before the woke North Sea took it.
Ivan Ambrose, thank you very much for the £5 super chat, mate. The thing is, as Blue Labour is so socially conservative, it will be anti-LGBTQIA+.
Did you see what's her fucking face at Pride? Not Angela Rayner. Fuck's sake.
Lisa Nandy.
Lisa Nandy, yeah, with a fucking Protect the Dolls shirt on, and I wanted to scream into the void. This party that are literally going to force people to have like a driver's license or a birth certificate to take a shit in public. That apparently that organisation sent a minister to this thing, and they allowed them in firstly, and it had a pro-trans T-shirt on, and you cheeky cunt, get the fuck out, now, you piece of trash.
Honestly, I'm more angry at whichever Pride it was that allowed anyone associated with the fucking Labour Party in.
Why not just let J.K. Rowling do your fucking speeches for you as well, you pricks? Fuck's sake. Unbelievable. What the fuck are you doing? Like, are you that desperate to shake hands with a famous person? Kind of famous, whatever.
This is the thing, though. I mean, there are people like Wes Streeting who are part of the community who I would say are socially conservative, especially when it comes to things like trans rights.
Is he?
What?
Is he?
Wes
I don't know
Streeting?
anything about Wes Streeting. How do you know that?
He
Because
took fucking
he's the
puberty
guy
blockers
who...
away. Right?
Yeah.
There were suicides.
Motherfucker, like, if you don't know about that, maybe you should look into it. You do claim to be, like, quite knowledgeable about the Labour Party, but apparently you didn't know this very glaringly obvious thing about the health minister. Okay.
Who brought in puberty blockers for trans kids?
No, he's not. I thought that. He's not. He's not. The advisors in Downing Street told him to. He's just loyal. I don't know anything.
Oh, that's okay then. He's just a willing stooge of transphobes instead. That's totally better. I mean, it's a lie. He is also himself very transphobic. But regardless of that, even if your nonsense of that is true, like, why is it that you're in a party that has central authority advisors that are transphobes?
Also, like, when he says the advisors, what he really means is, at one point in the now discredited Cass review, it said that there needed to be further study into puberty blockers.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the entirety of the advice that he was given that he's now taking. And second of all, right, as has been well pointed out in chat, this guy said he had positive meetings with, like, this Christian group that wanted to try and ban trans people. Like, he deliberately met them for no fucking good reason. And second of all, had positive meetings with the Bayswater Support Group, which is a TERF conversion therapy group. At one point in their Discord had somebody who suggested that they should put chili oil in their trans daughter's mascara to burn her eyes so she wouldn't use mascara. That's what the Bayswater Support Group is like.
Fuck it, that's just evil. What the fuck?
Okay, yeah, well, TERFs are evil. They
And,
like torturing
by the
their
way,
children.
illegal. That's assault. That's what you're doing there. That is a crime you're advising people to do against their children. And Yeah, as pointed out in chat, he's literally doing the he's just following orders defence, which isn't legitimate. You're a person of your own volition. You are quite a powerful person within the Labour Party. If you didn't want to do the transphobia, you could just not do it. But he did it. Quite willingly, because he's also a transphobe.
Anything about Wes Streeting? Do you? Do you actually know anything about Wes Streeting?
Oh, I've
I know
met him a
nothing
couple of
about him.
times.
But do you know anything about his policies? Because the stuff he's doing with trans stuff in the I thought that was him,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's clearly not. With the way things have gone, this has clearly come from the advisors.
Okay,
And
evidence.
he's just doing it because he's
The evidence of this, please. And again, like the only thing that he said was justification. When he was asked personally what his justification was, all he mentioned was the cast review.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And not just that, but like, why has he got advisors that are advising him these fucking evil things? Why are you okay with this? This is the point I have with all of these fucking excuses they'll make for the Labour Party is, well, why are you still in this party? If Central Command are this depraved, why are you still there? Because they clearly don't represent, like, the things you pretend to care about.
Okay, so this is the press release from December 2024. Ban on puberty blockers to be made indefinite on experts' advice. It follows a targeted consultation.
Donated $3.
The Commission on Human
I'm your
Medicines has provided
Ambrose.
independent expert advice that there is currently unacceptable safety risk. In March 2024, it was following the CAST review. Commission on Human Medicines.
Yeah. Thank you, by the way, to the person who was pretending to be me that just donated to me. There you go.
It's the Committee of the UK's Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency.
Oh, and of course, Lisa Nandy. Here we go. Lisa Nandy supports blanket bans of women, of trans people in elite level sport.
Including chess, darts.
Yeah, that's the
Tiddlywinks?
darts. Fucking darts. What's the advantage of darts? Like, for a start off, there have been women who have competed in the men's event at the World Championship and won. Not won the whole tournament, but won matches. So clearly, it isn't a gender-based thing, throwing a very, very light object small distances. There isn't really an advantage. It's not like lifting a heavy weight or running very quickly. It's ridiculous. Or yeah, chess. Chess is another one. Fuck me.
Yeah. Also, like, even if it turns out that the advice that was given by the CHM was perfectly reasonable for Wes Streeting, he literally went to the fucking Sun, right? He went to the fucking Sun, of all people. Like, the same... This is in a conversation with the guy who previously tweeted out positive about the idea of jailbait. Harry fucking whatever his name is. And he said he doesn't think trans women are women. He said the same thing to Jeremy Kyle on Talk TV.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's scum. Yeah.
he's loyal. The only thing I know about Wes Streeting is he's massively loyal to the project.
So
He
the
doesn't
point
cause-
of
Okay, that's not good because the project is evil. So I don't care, frankly.
selling out his own.
The only thing I know, I know one thing about him, that he doesn't want assisted dying, because that's the only thing he stepped out of line on. Everything else is just in line with Downing Street. So we don't know anything about him. He might be transphobic, he might not. We don't know anything.
So
I
we
know nothing about him.
we don't know who the
don't know
transphobic
anything
people
about
are in Labour who are pushing for the transphobic policy in Labour.
I know that, but he's not. We don't know that he's one of
Yes,
them.
he is.
But he's-
Yes, he is. He met with Bayswater. He met with the fucking Christians trying to legally define out trans people. He said transphobic things openly, deliberately. So, as a member
But
of the
again-
LGBT+ community himself.
But yeah, exactly. Wes Streeting is a transphobe, undeniably. But regardless, even if let's just go with this, we don't even know if he's transphobic. But you know that the Labour Party is replete with transphobes. Like, that's obvious. That's clearly the case. So why are you still there? Why are you also a transphobe, or what? What exactly, like? Because again, it's like the Nazi thing. If there are 10 Nazis at a table and someone sits down with them, you have 11 Nazis. The same sort of works with transphobes, really. Just saying.
in
don't
charge
know
of the
who
health
pushed it.
service. And
Yeah,
it was
but
his
it's not, though,
decision.
really.
He didn't dig his
It's
heels
not.
in.
We don't know. We don't know whether he did or he didn't.
Well, it's
have
his,
no
it's
idea
his
whether he did or
department.
This is like almost Trumpian. Like, we don't know. This is the first I'm hearing of this. I don't know. I've never heard of this person. Who is this person? Like, he's literally one step away from going fake news. No, fake news. The lying media wants to call him a transphobe, but he's clearly not. I've known him for a long time. Bigly, you know.
At the end of the day, he is
No, it's not.
ultimately responsible,
No.
right? Parliamentary
No, the
responsibility.
Prime Minister is
cabinet
ultimately
responsibility.
responsible. No. The Prime Minister sets guidelines for all cabinet
But we
ministers.
don't have a
and they're
president.
Right, yeah, but exactly, we don't have a presidential system. Each individual person can just choose to not go forward with the policy, and then the Prime Minister has an ability to sack them or force them to resign. That's the way it goes. Now, there is collective responsibility, to be sure, but again, if you don't want to go along with that collective responsibility, it is incumbent upon you to resign. People have done this. People have resigned on matters of principle before. That's a thing that can happen. It's relatively rare because, unfortunately, politicians don't tend to have many principles, which is
Robin Cook?
yeah, Robin Cook, a good example. Was it David Davis did some weird shit back in the day? I seem to recall. I can't even remember what he fucking resigned for, but it was some principled thing. Then he instantly restood in his seat and won again, and then they didn't allow him back into the government because they went, "Fuck you, you prick." But don't worry, he then turned up to the negotiations for Brexit with a piece of paper, so it's all good. Pen and paper is all you need next to knowledgeable people, obviously.
all
Presidential
work within
system.
those guidelines.
The executive
we-
is the whole of the government.
No, the Prime Minister
The executive is certainly a whole, that is true.
sets the guidelines for every. No cabinet minister
So
can
it's-
actually formulate their own policy outside of the guidelines set
So
by.
this is Keir Starmer's fault then. Keir Starmer's
Yes.
the big transphobe, and West Streeting's just
Not
going along with
necessarily.
it.
He's just been persuaded that it's strategically necessary, but it is ultimately his fault because he's a.
See, he
Okay,
doesn't care.
well,
He
what
doesn't care. It's just strategically. It's okay. Okay, so let's say strategically, he's been convinced that we need to gas Jews. Fuck it. We need to go Auschwitz 2 Electric Boogaloo. Would that also be fine? Because it's strategic. Because the Daily Mail said so. They've got a history of
it-
supporting Nazism after all.
Yeah, just fucking deploy gunships in the channel. Just murder the asylum seekers in cold blood.
Yeah, it's fine.
It would win votes. It would win votes, Phil.
Strategically, he's been convinced that I need to kill all children.
You
Fuck
need to
it.
nuke Palestine.
Well, I mean, we're a fucking. How would that actually be different than the current policy? Fundamentally, because if Israel did it, he'd fucking defend it, or he'd come out and say
True,
"tut tut tut,"
true.
and then continue to sell them weapons. Oh, that was it. Yeah, David Davis because of ID cards. Yeah. He didn't want to. The Tories were in, I think, in opposition, weren't they? And he was in the shadow cabinet.
Yeah.
And the Tories wanted to support it, and he went, "Nah, fuck that noise, bitch." Because he's one of the few libertarians that is sort of libertarian, sort of.
Pointed those advisors.
So it's ultimately
He's ultimately
Keir
responsible.
Starmer's fault that West
Yeah,
Streeting
of course it is.
has
He's the Prime Minister.
pursued these policies that are incredibly, I mean,
Yes.
this
has come from Downing Street. This is-
cruel. These cruel policies that are leading to severe mental health problems for trans kids. And don't forget,
Yes.
50% of trans children have suicide.
Look, but he doesn't care about this. He's wondering if it gives him a 2% swing in like C2V voters.
Which
That's
it won't.
Yeah.
Which is funny enough, it just fucking won't.
Yeah, because again, the same people whose votes he's trying to chase think he's like a demon man who fucks kill children and Ukrainian people and thinks that he and Volodymyr Zelensky eat baby brains or something, you know? Like,
Suicidal ideation.
So pause one sec.
50%.
oh,
So the people who West Streeting listened to, apparently, in terms of making the puberty blocker ban indefinite, said that they were unsafe or was on speculated impact of gender and sexuality maturation. So literally, it was just like, well, what if they want to be gay and they're being trans out, they're transing the gay away, right? I.e., just fucking bullshit nonsense conspiracy theories pushed by
yeah,
TERF.
just standard turf nonsense, yeah. Yeah.
There's no evidence. There's literally no evidence that secretly gay kids are being turned trans to trans the gay away. Like, in the society where being gay is almost universally accepted now,
Yeah.
right?
Oh.
Why would you want to be the group of people who are just fundamentally the fucking punching bag of society?
Also, trans people are like the gayest fuckers in society. Like, they're all gay. There's not a straight trans person. They don't exist. That's not true, but you know what I mean. Like, there's a lot of. I mean, you're a lesbianic, I believe.
I am indeed.
Yeah. See, gay trans. They didn't trans the gay away. They trans the gay in.
It's true. It's true. We will have nobody.
And
We'll not
that-
tolerate you being straight in this house, Helena.
Exactly. What are you, straight? You massive puff. Jesus.
Also,
is
of
not
course,
helping in
everything
any way, shape, or
ultimately
form.
comes from the Prime Minister. There is not a single policy any
What
minister
about
is allowed to
collective
come up
cabinet
with.
responsibility?
Again, collective cabinet responsibility means when it comes to like issues that can have cross-departmental issues, you discuss them, but the Prime Minister decides.
Right, so how come the heads of
granted,
departments, hang on,
Well, the Prime Minister ultimately has that decision, but it's done in consultation with Cabinet. That's the point of having Cabinet, is for them to talk
Also,
about
like-
those fucking issues.
Like, when does he think that the moral line has been crossed here in terms of these issues? You know, like, as I said, there have been suicides in terms of kids
Yeah.
because of the changes in legislation brought by the Labour Party, right? And I'm saying that you would absolutely win the next election. Like, you would get no swing in the polls being nasty to trans kids, but you would automatically win the next election, most likely, if you just started drowning refugees in the channel. You started murdering them, open season, just kill everybody, right? Almost a fucking landslide of the next election.
Yeah.
But he would be outraged if I suggested such a thing. Oh, well, that's the bad humanity. Okay, so dead trans kids, fine. Dead asylum seekers, that's too far, is it? Like, what sectors of society and how many are allowed to die, Phil, to justify Labour getting re-elected? Where's the point of
Well-
inflection in terms of dead people?
To use the Bassem Youssef coefficient, how many sons of bitches need to die in order for you to win the next election?
Literally, they're doing David Lammy arithmetic over what numbers do or don't constitute a genocide.
Yeah.
Which is funny because the most recently labelled genocide was like fucking 1,000 people.
Yeah. I mean, in theory, you could do genocide without technically killing a single person. Very rarely that would ever really happen, but it is possible. What's this? Trans children speak out against deadly puberty blocker ban. Okay, I'll give that a watch off stream, thank you. What was I looking at? Someone said a thing, and I can't find it now. Bollocks.
Phil, I've got a question. How come the heads of department, how come the Secretary of State resigns when their department fucks up so badly and the Prime Minister doesn't?
Sometimes the Prime Minister does. Liz trusted it really
Well,
quickly.
she was kind of forced to. Because
Yeah,
she was a
everyone's
shit
forced.
Prime Minister.
Everyone's
Her
forced.
department
No
of
one-
being the Prime
when-
Minister, she was shit
When
at that.
was the
He makes it sound like it's the fucking central presidium of the fucking CCCP or something. Like, come on, man. It's are we doing like appointed presidents now or some shit? What the fuck
Also,
is
like,
this?
Everyone knows that Keir Starmer is like the weak link here because he's just fundamentally an unserious individual who has no idea what the fuck he's doing. Literally, that picture of the dog in the glasses at the PC.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Although there's a Matt Zarb cousin tweet where it's just like Keir Starmer as Prime Minister is like one of those kids sitting in those motorized cars that you find outside of supermarkets. Put the coin in, Keir Starmer just frantically and enthusiastically waggling the steering wheel around as Morgan McSweeney slots new coins in.
Yeah, basically. But pretty much, yeah. And you can tell that when he has to do things himself, which is why it looks so embarrassing when he starts scrambling around for paper at Donald Trump's feet. Because he hasn't been told what to do. He has to behave as he thinks humans behave. And it never works out well. He always just comes off looking like a robot that's being held hostage. That's basically the kind of look of fear in his eyes. And it's genuinely painful as a person who would rather the country not be shit. But there we go.
last time you can remember any Secretary of State resigning without Downing Street going, yeah, we think you should resign? I mean,
Robin Cook.
Yep.
Robin Cook went, no, the thing you're doing is illegal and wrong. and he stood down.
Yeah.
And then Claire Short checked the which way the wind was blowing, and then pretended to be as principled as that. So
And it's just like, and again, that was so ironic. I would argue, you know, at least there was some kind of common cause when it came to Iraq. It was still illegal, and I don't think it was justified, right? But I could see someone with different kind of geopolitical understanding of me and who really didn't like Saddam Hussein making a different case. There's no case with support for Israel. There's no case at all.
no, absolutely not.
There'll be times where we don't really know for certain, but it's always.
Yeah, but if they fuck up bad enough, they can't just turn around and say, well, it was not my fault. I was told to do this by the advisors who were appointed by Keir Starmer or the leader, so they
They
should
can't
go.
say it, but that can be true.
What, that the Prime
That
Minister
can
should
still
go
be true.
every time the government fucks up. We'll get through a lot
Not
of
every
Prime
time.
Ministers.
No, what I'm saying,
Maybe this is the Tory policy.
what I'm trying to explain to you is that a cabinet. I mean, you mentioned ministerial responsibility.
Yes.
Ministerial responsibility specifically says that a minister cannot just come up with their own policies outside the guidelines laid down.
That's true, but the fact that Wes Streeting wasn't prepared to put something in to say, hang on, this is a cruel and unfair punishment to trans children, banning them from getting puberty blockers when we're not
They don't
banning
necessarily
it
see it that
for,
way.
for cisgender kids. Well, obviously
but-
he doesn't,
No, he
because
doesn't.
otherwise he would have said
He's a fucking transphobe.
Yeah, exactly.
something, because he was prepared to put his head above
You don't
the
know what
parapet
he said.
on the free vote on assisted dying, where he said, no, I don't agree with
that.
this.
No, you know that's completely different because there was no party line on that.
Well, yeah, there was no party line, but he was prepared to step out of line from,
But
you know, the
It wasn't stepping.
But also, like,
No, it wasn't. Because
Yeah,
when,
weird, isn't it, Phil? Weird, isn't it, Phil? How there's no party line when it comes to assisted dying, right? You know, weird that.
Well, 'cause
And yet there is a party line when it comes to trans people.
Where old people vote, so they're going to be protected at all costs in every situation. Whereas trans people don't matter to the Labour Party. Fundamentally, they've shown that.
Starmer then told him to shut the fuck up, he shut the fuck up.
When was he told to shut
It was
the fuck up?
because that was a completely separate issue.
Because afterwards
this is not.
he
This is
said
coming
that the
from on high.
NHS wouldn't be able to cope with it
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what he said.
after it was agreed
But
on.
nonetheless, that was a separate issue because every member of Labour, including the cabinet, were allowed to take an opposing view.
Yeah, but
There was no
afterwards,
party line in it.
after the vote, he stood up and said the NHS can't afford to do this.
Yeah, because it's still a matter. It's still considered.
Which you would think, as the health minister, you should have said before the vote, really, because that seems like rather an important aspect of this. Like, if X policy will cause the financial ruination of the healthcare system, maybe bring that up. Maybe give that a little airing so that people can vote accordingly. You daft bastard.
It's not party policy.
And by the way, he's probably talking shit there, but irrelevant. The point is, if you genuinely thought that to be true, you should have said it.
So even though like they're going to have to do it, well, they think they're going to have to do it.
Yeah, they're happy to do it.
They're happy
We know
to do
Starmer
it.
wanted to do that. But nonetheless, it's still not party policy. It has come from the backbenchers. That's the line all the way through.
But I
This
don't
is not a
remember
government
there
bill.
being anything about all this transphobia in the Labour Party manifesto. I don't remember them saying they're going to stop the puberty blockers.
Well,
I don't
it is in
recall
there.
them saying they're going to
It
make
is
life
in there.
torture for people who are trans, so they
is
can't
in
go
there.
for a piss.
But again, this is the annoying thing. Graham, for the love of God, listen to the thing you've just said. Your party is torturing trans children. Why are you still in it? Why? What possible defence is there of that policy that means that you can still remain a party member and supporter of this evil? I genuinely would like to know that. I tried to get it out of Bowler Hat Man, but he was just... It's like talking to a fucking brick wall. Unbelievable.
It is in there.
Where is it in there? Go, you look it up while I do some secure super chats.
Just because they didn't use your words, by the way, you do understand you're not a fool. You know they didn't put it in those terms.
I know, but even in like, oh, we just don't like trans people or whatever however they say.
No,
SG,
it's in there.
thank you. Do ministers make policy or advisors? Well, I thought it was ministers
right.
made the policy on the advice of the advisors, but
Exactly. You have to understand, and you do need advisors. You do need advisors.
Yeah, but you don't have to
Ministers
do
know
it.
nothing.
You don't have to do exactly
Ministers
what
know
they
Maybe,
nothing.
right? It is worth
Sorry,
pointing out. It is worth pointing out that if these ministers had literally any prior knowledge of anything to do with their brief, they wouldn't have to rely so much on advisors. But of course, I mean, Wes Streeting is emblematic of this in that he's health secretary, not because he knows anything about health policy or has studied anything about health policy or has done anything in his life that could even allude to being a good member of governance, apart from the fact that he's just been a fucking like political activist his entire life, been a political kind of party staffer his whole life, you know, right? But he's only in that position because he's future leadership material, and the health and social care brief is important. So he's been put there so he can get groomed into being seen as trustworthy by the public when he inevitably becomes the next leader of the Politburo.
Yeah.
Ministers cannot come up with policy without help.
Yes.
Wes Streeting, what's his experience of the health service? He had cancer, right? What's Angela Rayner's
What's the
experience
health
of
minister?
housing?
Why? Why, Phil? Tell me.
It's a good
Fuck's
question.
sake.
It's a good question.
I'm so,
She
so
lives in a house,
frustrating to
right?
watch.
No
Sorry,
cabinet minister,
headphone
apart
deals.
from the Justice Secretary, actually has any expertise in their department.
Yeah. Okay.
They can learn some things. Most of them spent some years working on the shadow brief, so they learned some things, but they need experts who've actually worked in that field. Here it is.
Also, pause one sec. Speaking of ministers who know fuck all about their brief, I don't know if you've heard, Kev, but Peter Kyle is my new enemy.
Okay, go on.
He's my new nemesis, right? So first of all, right, so for people who don't know, Peter Kyle is the Science and Technology Minister. And he might be the dumbest, thickest, most stupid person I've ever seen in any ministerial role. I guess probably since Gavin Williamson. So it's not that long ago. But the fact that he is as bad as Gavin Williamson tells you that he must be bad.
What was that Tory woman, the blonde woman? Oh, God. I'll have to look her up. Laura something or other? Anyway, she was fucking awful as well. I mean, she looked dead behind the eyes. Yeah.
So Peter Kyle, right? So first of all, he's really behind the idea of digital ID, which everybody hates.
Yeah.
No one likes digital ID. It's being sold as a way of solving the problem of asylum seekers, but we all know it's going to be used to surveil the population. Yeah. They've got this. There's this article in the Daily Mail, so take it with a pinch of salt, but quite literally was described as wanting to create a Minority Report style surveillance system for the UK.
Oh my
But again,
God.
because all they know is, you know, is to eat hot chip, do genocide, have more crackdowns, and lie.
Yes.
That's their position on these kind of things, you know. Yeah. Then, of course, on top of this, he's one of the ones who clearly so stupid he thinks that AI is this magic solution that where wizards are going to fix society through the robots like in the sci-fi films, right? Oh, it's like Skynet. That's a bad thing, PC. You do know that, right? So not only have they got a bunch of really, really cringe pro AI stuff more broadly in their kind of rhetoric that they use, but he's instantly said that workers need to embrace AI or they're going to be left behind. And that there's going to be job losses, but you just have to get to grips with it.
You've sold me. The fact that he thinks that AI is good, instantly, he is my enemy, yes.
Well, I think there's some fine productivity tools that you can use it for, but the fact that they've kind of been sold on it and also been bought into it, because of course this guy's been given donations by AI companies, according to the Canary. On top of this, at the last in a meeting that he had with Sam Altman from OpenAI, they floated the idea of a deal, a £2 billion deal, to just buy ChatGPT Plus for the whole fucking country. Again, this is the same Sam Altman, Scam Altman, who says that AI is a bubble. I'm like, oh, so we're just gonna gift them the goose that laid the golden egg by getting them a government contract like Elon Musk, because they don't actually have any kind of competitive market anymore. No matter how shit your product is, if you can buy off a government minister who's too stupid to realise that the actual kind of utility of these things is very minor and that it's not worth splashing £2 billion. Again, the same amount it would cost more indeed than it would cost to remove the 2-child welfare cap on universal credit. Like, but we're going to spend all of this to just give everybody ChatGPT Plus.
Unbelievable. Just ridiculous nonsense. Thank you, Over the Story, for gifting a sub to 255 AD. Much love to you. Yeah. God, yeah, no, I hate him. Yeah, you've sold me. Yeah. Laura Trott, that was the person I was thinking of. Yeah, she was dumb as fuck as well.
Oh, well, she was the worst. I mean, what's funny is, of course, that because she's a posh person and she's white, no one remembers it.
True.
You didn't even remember. I mean, you remember that she existed, but no one else even remembers that she existed. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, and she got her sums wrong like multiple times, and as the fucking chief secretary to the Treasury.
Yeah.
And yet Diane Abbott got sums wrong once as Shadow Home Secretary.
And, well, yeah, but
apparently that's the same thing.
She also had a mojito on the tube when that was legal, so she's basically Hitler. Well, she was fucking Hitler in the 80s.
True.
But, you know, that's a different thing.
We will work to implement the expert recommendations of the cash review to ensure that a young person presented to the NHS with gender dysphoria are receiving appropriate and high quality care. It is in there. I mean, the
Also,
way
pause one sec as well. Just going down on this same thing about OpenAI, right? So apparently Peter Carl didn't take the idea seriously because of the cost, but what they do have is in July, Peter Carl signs an agreement with OpenAI to use it in the UK's public services. The non-binding deal could give OpenAI access to government data and lead to its software being used in education, defence, security, and in the justice system.
So you're going to go into ChatGPT and try and make a funny image of like a cat playing snooker, and your fucking national insurance number's going to pop up.
Also, apparently, as a government minister, he asked ChatGPT for advice on what podcasts he should appear on.
Oh, just fucking end it. End Britain.
You know, at least
Britain's
at least
over.
at least he realizes he's too stupid to be in control of his own brief, right?
Yeah.
A fucking robot could do his job better than him.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. Well, to be honest, we've tried the humans running government, and it hasn't really worked out. Just give it to the fucking robots. Fuck it. I'm willing to just fully accept our fucking iRobot future. I don't even care at this point. Just fucking end it. End it. The humanity is cooked. It's done.
It's so bad. A good point in chat. If they want AI in the public sector, why not just make it their own fork of DeepSeek because it's open source? Well, the problem, of course, that would involve the government doing literally anything rather than paying a private company to do it, and we all know they don't want to do that.
Yeah. Anyway, so the apparently this was so Graham has brought up that Labour are being transphobic, and Phil said, "Oh, it's in the manifesto." So if we just go back and hear the quote to see whether it says the thing he thinks it says.
learned some things, but they need experts who've actually worked in that field.
Yeah.
Here it is. We will work to implement the expert recommendations of the cash review to ensure that a young person presented to the NHS with gender dysphoria are receiving appropriate and high quality care. It is in there.
Is it? Is that the
Well, the
policy?
recommendation of the CAS review wasn't to ban puberty blockers.
No, that's
The
gone far
recommendation of the
beyond
CAS
it, yeah.
review is that there needs to be further studies into the CAS review, which they are doing. There are going to be further studies in by 2027, of course. But the advice that he's going on here was also from somebody who was ideologically captured.
Yeah. So, like, it's ridiculous, and that doesn't say the thing that is the policy that the transphobes have implemented at the Department of Health. So you're full of shit again. Brilliant.
I mean, the way I read that, you know, it's
sounds like care,
everything's ambiguous.
Not don't
Yeah,
care.
everything's ambiguous in a manifesto. Everything, but nonetheless,
It's not supposed to be, is it? It's not supposed to be. It's almost like you're lying. It's almost like you're lying to the people.
it was.
So
in
by care, they meant, you know, torture. Anyway, One Angry Pagan, thank you very much. The next election has neither been won or lost yet. Well, yeah, I know. But if Labour continue on the route that they are on at the moment, they're
we
going to
don't
lose.
know. We don't know that. There's this huge issue. There are things they are doing that are going to be popular and people don't know about at the moment. We do not.
I'm sorry, is this Hitler's super weapons? What the fuck are you talking about? There are policies that they're doing that people don't know about. They're going to be super popular. What the fuck is that based on? Other than the purest copium known to man.
What's ironic as well is that they have policies they've already done that were polled as popular, and people don't fucking care.
Yeah, you've basically hold below the waterline at this point. Yeah, people don't care. You're unpopular. They don't like you.
We do not know what the impact of that is going to be yet. Ordinarily, I would say the impact will be huge and Labour should be fine. But because everything's so fragmented at the moment, because it used to be the case that people would not vote a party out of government if things were getting better, because it's like people don't go for the mystery box unless they think that what's going on now is clearly failing. So it's almost like there has in the past, and we've seen this with Conservatives and Labour, We've seen in the past people voting that people are more afraid of things getting worse than they are hopeful of things getting better. So if you show that things are getting better, even if it's not by leaps and bounds, people tend to stick with what they know. But at the moment, I would say things are so badly fragmented, you cannot count on it.
I was just going to say...
The biggest issue for me is not what Labour are doing. It's actually what other parties are doing.
It might be, but the refuck have thrown a huge spanner in the works here. And everything that we've known...
How the fucking what kind of analysis is that? We're in government, but it's not what we're doing that counts. What the fuck does that even mean? What, like, genuinely, if you think that being in government matters that little and that you can't affect things, why do you bother?
Well, it's literally. It's what it is. It is motivated reasoning for if we lose, then that's your fault. But if we
Yeah.
win, then it's our fault.
Well, exactly. Yeah. No. It's sort of setting up the cope for 4 years' time because he knows they're going to lose. I don't think he's an idiot, as much as you may claim that he's a liar, and I might not necessarily disagree with that. He's not like a fucking absolute idiot. He's just he knows they're going to lose, and so he's setting up the excuse early. Yeah, and you've already seen that with them going on about, oh, if you vote for Jeremy Corbyn, you're basically voting for Nigel Farage. Suck a dick.
From previous elections for the last 100 years has been thrown out the window because we haven't had to deal with an insurgent threat like this to the two-party dominance of the Westminster system before.
Yeah, we have.
Well,
it's happened twice.
What was it the SNP? No, the SDP. Sorry,
No,
When was
Labour.
that? Okay,
And
yeah,
Labour and
that
the
was 100
Peelers.
years ago. That was 100
Yeah,
years ago.
it was still.
The fucking Peelers. Are you joking me? Right, for those who don't know what that's a reference to, right? Robert Peel, like 140 fucking years ago or something? He's talking about that. Okay, and the Labour Party, so we're talking 1900s?
So his metric is from before women's suffrage.
Before the knowledge of germ theory, apparently.
Before the foundation of the state of Israel.
True, but that would encompass fucking Wilson. No,
Well, include, actually,
no,
honestly,
no,
it would
no.
include Keir Starmer because it doesn't exist. It's
Yeah.
not real.
Well, I saw a fantastic shit post. There was like one of those really old gnarly fucking tortoises, and it was like born in 1862 or something, right? And someone did the maths of it, and it's like 100 and so many years older than Israel.
Joe Biden is older than Israel.
True, but Joe Biden's older than Methuselah. Like, how is that creature still going? I don't know. I'm not sure he is. I think he might have died several years ago. They've been AI fucking animating him or something. They did it with Tupac at Coachella, so it can happen. The gorillas never existed at all, did they? So, anyway, what was I saying? Doesn't matter. Anyway, yeah. So his points of reference, like he could. Graham was making a decent point there. The SNP coming in did sort of fragment it a bit, and the Lib Dems getting 70 seats. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. But no, apparently he has to go back to the institution of the Labour committees. Fuck me. I mean, I know that's the last time that they had a leader called Keir that was based, but come on now. Let's not be fucking silly. It's so annoying as well, because calling your kid Keir was like a thing that leftists used to do to be cool and edgy, and well, not edgy, but like to show that they knew shit because of Keir Hardie. They can't do that anymore. Because people are going to think,
literally.
why did you name your kid Briefcase?
I mean, it's literally, I was playing Magic, and there was a guy there who was called Keir, and the person across from him, so one of the new guys, just said, "Oh, like the Prime Minister," and you could see the guy's face just fucking fall.
Oh yeah. There is an entire generation of the kids of leftists who would be called Keir, who now have to put up with this shit.
Literally, and I actually went across to the guy and said, "It's fine. I know that you're named after Keir Hardie. I do apologise for you and your future generations."
Yeah. Like, I'm guessing there were a lot of Adolfs running around in the 50s who were like, no, it's not nothing to do with that. it used to be okay, right? It used to be fine.
I mean, literally, I went to school with a kid called Osama. right? Very, very. I mean, an extremely normal name for
Yeah,
people from that area
yeah.
of the world, you know. But because he was born in, you know, in the 1991 or whatever, so it was in the same year as me, so either 91 or 1990. And at that point, Osama bin Laden hadn't even signed the Peshawar Accord.
He was still our friend. Yeah. He
Yeah, we were still fucking arming him
He was.
to fight the PDPA.
He was still one of the brave fighters of the Mujahideen. Yeah.
Still gone through it. We've still gone through it.
Okay, well, the last
It's
90
happened.
years then. This is the post-war.
Can I just say, since the last time it happened, it's
Yes,
never
since
happened.
it hasn't happened for 100 years.
Yeah, if you have to go back to Queen Victoria being alive, yeah, I don't think you can really, like, there's no comparison.
Yeah.
If you go back to literally, like, fucking horse-drawn buses, it's that we live in a rather different society, actually. Fucking hell.
Okay, so
Okay,
looking
but-
at elections,
but these things don't happen very often.
Looking at the last election, the one before that, and the one before that, the power that you know, refuck or the whatever they were called back then was nowhere near them. The possibility of them forming a government. Now the possibility is there, and this is something that Labour need to react to quite, you know, in a way that doesn't. That at the moment, they seem to be echoing right-wing Tory
Yeah,
politics.
they're getting a lot of this.
rhetoric and echoing refuck.
Yeah, they're getting their communications badly wrong.
No, it's not just the communications. The policies are fucking awful.
I mean, literally, there was a quote from a Labour minister who said, or was it maybe it might have been a backbencher, who said, well, they say that we need to get on with implementing our plan for change, but the problem is it's all the things that we've implemented that the people don't like.
Yeah, exactly. It's not
Are
just
you
the
trying to kill
communications.
disabled people?
Yeah, like, the comms has been atrocious. I think we're all aware of that. But, like, the policies have also been bad. That's why no one likes you. Because, like, your communications have been bad, but the communications about you wanting to freeze Granny weren't just bad comms, it was bad policy too.
So Andrew just said that. It's worth coming on to this. Let me just know what you mean, Andrew. So Phil tends to make too many excuses for Labour's inactivity on some issues. So what inactivity? Give me an example of some inactivity on an issue, Andrew. It might. I don't know whether how quickly you can type.
Well, I
it, but
mean,
if you just type-
Oh, sorry, no, yeah, no, the super secret policies that are definitely going to turn it around. Yeah, no, I forgot about them. Yeah. I can't wait for them, Phil. It's going to be amazing.
I mean, no other, I mean, for example, let's take the big issue of the day. Let's take the big issue of the day, which is asylum seekers. Which is
Right.
people getting mad about asylum seekers, right? Like,
Yeah.
what's their plan? To reduce hotel usage?
Rubber sniffing
What's that?
dogs.
Yeah, literally. What's their plan for ensuring that asylum numbers go down? What's their plan for ensuring that fewer people die in the channel? There's no plan.
I don't think there's,
There's
a
no-
plan. I don't think there's a plan for not wanting people to die in the channel because they don't care about that. That's not an
Well, that's
issue.
true, that's
That's just one fewer or several fewer people they don't have to deal with. They're quite fine with people dying in the channel. It doesn't look great, but what's worse is that one time they have to put up a fucking they have to release public figures of how many immigrants have come in, and so if those 12 dead Muslims, and they're usually Muslims of course, which is why the fucking media are fine with it, are dead in the channel, they're not on the statistics, are they? So Keir Starmer's
that is
fine
true.
with it. Literally,
That is
that
true.
is the ghoulish evil actual policy of the British government, and has been now for many years.
On top of this as well, like, Phil knows. You know, Grant, we all know that Elite Border Security Command is a fucking meaningless dogshit phrase that they've just made up to make it sound like they're doing something.
The super cool, awesome border force squad.
Literally, it's like fucking Donald Trump's Space Force.
Yeah, it's
Like,
like
it's
it's like
actual
Action
Trumpian
Man,
policy.
Action Man, and fucking Coke Zero as a policy.
Exactly, but and again, when he literally stood up at Interpol and said, "We've got dogs trained to sniff dinghy rubber," like, no, I'm not taking this seriously.
And I feel bad for those dogs because, like, they probably got into it because it's a choice. Obviously, they thought, "Well, I'm going to sniff out cocaine. I'm going to keep drugs off the streets and keep British people safe." And now they're fucking sniffing condoms or something to train. What do you train with for that? Tires, maybe.
Also, like Border Security Command. You know what it reminds me of? Do you know remember when, like, they will, like, companies, when they're making adverts, they will make up sciencey sounding compounds that they've put in their fucking, I don't know, shower gel.
Boswellox.
Yeah, or bifidus digestivum. That was the Yakult one, right? It's got bifidus digestivum, which isn't a real thing.
No.
They just make up these sciencey sounding things so it sounds like it's real when it's not.
Yeah.
That's what Elite Border Security Command is.
Yes, yes. It is the Boswellocks of immigration. Yeah.
I would say immigration. I would say illegal immigration.
there's lots of
It's
action on
not that I think
immigration.
It's illegal. What have they done?
There's massive action on immigration. You just don't like it.
What?
But there's action on it. It's not inactivity. In fact, there's too much activity.
Oh my god. Are you fucking brain dead? Like, for real? What kind of defence is this? You might not like it, but there's lots of action. Too much action. It is almost Trumpian. It's just word salad. It's just stream
Also-
of consciousness.
I've looked up the government website's description of the Elite Border Security Command, and they've got no policies outside of we'll seize migrants' phones. That's it. Other than that, it's just we will strengthen international partnerships and then invest in international cooperation, which is the same fucking thing. And then they'll build on these achievements.
Yeah.
That's what it says. And then the priorities are to prevent, pursue, protect, and prepare. And all of it is just we will do the good things and not the bad things.
Yeah.
That is the Elite Border Security Command. That was their flagship policy for stopping the boats. Going into
Shatner's
the election.
bassoon. Yes.
Literally. And have the boats stopped, Kev? Do you want to listen to the numbers of asylum
No,
crossings over the last year?
No, lots of boats.
Is it higher or lower than it was
I
for the year
believe it
previous?
is. It is above the number that previously existed.
Yep, it's an 8% increase.
Yeah, not good.
Clearly, the dingy rubber sniffing dogs haven't fucking got their
Well, what are we
on.
paying these fucking dogs for? Honestly, these fucking dogs on stupid gold-plated public contracts. They're scroungers, is what they are. Okay,
It's corporate socialism.
exactly. God Almighty, we live in a caninocracy.
There's actually
there
too
isn't.
much
No, there
activity on
isn't.
immigration.
No,
Yes, there is.
they might be focusing on it too much, but like the things
There's
that
loads of
they've
policies.
done are not particularly helping at the moment.
Okay,
It's
no,
not
that's a
helping-
different thing.
It's
No,
not
no, no.
helping people not
That-
come over here in boats.
That's you saying
not
you
helping
don't like the
the-
activity. That's not inactivity. That's you saying you don't like the activity.
okay.
There
so
is
what-
activity.
Okay, but the things you're doing are shit. Like, what? The people are saying we prefer you do nothing than the thing you are currently doing, which is negative.
I mean, again, like, please tell us what the government is doing, Phil. I would love to know.
Yeah. Please tell us this amazing activity that you think is taking place.
What activity is there?
So first of all, they've coming up with these agreements like the Iraq thing, stuff like that, but other returns agreements as well. You've got they're tightening up access to economic migration. They are we know that they're
Oh, what
putting
we're
that
talking about.
border force as well. We also know.
No pre-watch. No pre-watch.
He went full rubber sniffing dog. You never go full rubber sniffing dog. Okay?
literally, I knew. Elite Border Security Command chat. What is it? Dunno, but they've got it. And when it comes to the returns agreements, well, that only applies to people who've had their asylum claim rejected.
Yeah.
If they come here seeking asylum and their claim is like, that's what people want to stop.
Yeah.
The small boats won't stop because there are people there with legitimate asylum claims. Therefore, they're not going to get returned because it's going to be legitimate.
Elite Border Security Force is very Team America. It's very like, you should be Elite Border Security Force. Fuck yeah. Look, it's just silly. It's just a very silly name for a non-entity. Like, what is it doing? What, stealing phones from migrants? I'm not sure that's a positive thing, is it? What? They'll just get another phone, I think. That's probably how
It's to
that
try
will
and
work.
it's to identify smugglers, apparently.
What, so you just ring up the last dialed number and then hope they don't hang up because they're in fucking Calais and there's nothing you can do about it. Brilliant.
That they've been clearing the backlog, which actually is a positive
Isn't Border
thing.
Force always been there? What have they done? They've added some people.
No. The border force always existed, but in
Yeah.
terms of specifically targeting smuggling gangs.
Okay,
There
and they
was
go
none
out.
of that with the Tories because the Tories refused to work with the EU,
but-
and of course you've got to work with the EU because you're arresting them in the EU.
Yeah, but we go into the water and we see there's a boat coming over. I mean, it's not like Border Force can send them back to France.
No. That's not the
No, that's what you do. You shoo them away. You stand on the beach at Dover and you just go, shh, no, go away, go away.
I would love to know what Phil thinks the plan is. What he thinks that the elite border security command does. I would love for him to explain in more detail than the nothing that's on the government website.
You know what you do? You set up one of those fucking crazy wave machines they have in the swimming baths. And so when the boat gets the boat gets too close, and you just go whoa, and you go, oh, it's an earthquake, you have to go back, and then they row back to France.
I mean, that was literally what Preeti Patel said she wanted to do.
Yeah, no, she's fucking mental. Yes, yeah.
She wanted wave machines to capsize the boats because she's fucking evil.
Yeah, I mean that is not only phenomenally stupid and impractical and unworkable and ludicrously expensive, but also a human rights atrocity. But other than that, great idea. Get massive fans, exactly, massive fans, or oh no, I was about to say get a massive magnet and place it in France, but you'd need to get France on board. I'm not sure they'd be happy with the massive magnet idea. Might fuck around with the radios and that. And then throw a magnet of equal strength onto the boat, and then it just pulls it back to France. It's genius, okay? I'm thinking outside the box, people.
what's changed though.
So what's changed?
So they've now created teams that work with Europeans to track, because the rest of Europe's got the same problem, to track down the people who are supplying.
Hang on, the rest of Europe... Austria has a boat problem. I don't think it does. I don't think Switzerland or Hungary or the Czech Republic, I really don't think they have a fucking boat problem. Jesus. Now, if you mean they have immigration issues, sure, they do, obviously. We know the Schengen zone and all of that. It's a tricky issue. But clearly what they're doing isn't working because the numbers are getting worse.
The money side of it, supplying the boats and so on.
Okay,
That's
all right,
also-
well, maybe
it's
I'll
still not
change
gonna
the
work.
way I put this then. So it's not an activity, but it's activity.
Okay, but that's
in,
why I was
in the
asking. That's why I was
absolute
asking,
Wrong,
you know.
direction. It's like
Yeah.
you've got to fix the road, and instead of fixing the road, you dig up another road that doesn't need fixing. And you're working,
no.
you're doing something. I'm helping, but the reality
Yeah.
is,
Exactly. You get rid of all potholes by just removing all roads. If it's just flat dirt, everything on tapper.
Yeah, exactly. Problem solved.
Dig down. That's all you got to do. Don't fill it in. Flatten it down.
that since Labour got in, 111,000 people have come across in small boats. That's the latest figure.
Yes, but you shouldn't be using that figure, and you know why? Because you are now echoing Reform UK, because they've been in power for how long?
So he's literally doing fake news now. He's literally just like, no, fake news. No, you can't trust that. There's reform numbers. The evil numbers. Are they the correct numbers or not the correct numbers? Like, don't get me wrong. I would never trust Nigel Farage if he said the sky was fucking blue. I'd check with a sane person who wasn't a bullshitter, right? But, look, he can sometimes tell the truth. He can read off government statistics. Like, you can't just say it's Reform UK, like it's saying bacon to a Muslim or something. Ooh, like it's not. People don't. It's silly. It's very silly.
Yes.
A year and a month and a half.
More than a year, right? So you're using the more than a year figure and comparing it with previous annual figures, just like Reform
I
UK.
wasn't
So
comparing
you need
with
to
any
avoid
other
doing the same thing.
figures. I was just saying there's
I know,
lots of people
but
coming over.
you mentioned a number for some reason. The numbers
Yes,
for impact.
because you got to know how many
to
people.
make it sound like it's a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah, but that's not. But how many in the last year? Because that's the only numbers we've got to compare. Like,
The
are
year
we
when
really going to
There
compare?
were too many under the Tories. Like the numbers too high. No one should be coming over here
But
in
why
small
not
boats.
just-
No one should be putting their
No
life
one should at all, but-
in danger. Their children's lives in danger. Getting on a little rickety dinghy to go over the 30 miles from Dover to Calais, or Calais to
Indeed.
Dover, I suppose.
You know,
so
my
people
view
trying
on
to
that. We should
escape.
have a processing centre in France. We should
Yes.
have a processing centre in northern France, and
Yes.
that is the only thing. The only
the only thing
way
that's
to
gonna
stop
work.
the small boats, literally, is by having. It doesn't.
That's it. Turn off the lights and pretend no one's in. Yes.
I mean,
Perfect.
he's about to say safe and legal routes, but he knows that the government isn't doing it.
Yeah. Or change the number on the front door. And then the migrants will go, no, I'm looking for 23. This is 25. Oh, shit. And then they'll just roll away. God, I'm good at this. They should get me in government, honestly.
Have to be in processing centre in northern France, but you do have to have some way for genuine asylum seekers to claim asylum without crossing the channel.
Yes, which we don't
That's
at the
it.
moment.
That's literally it. It doesn't matter how you do it. There are different ways to potentially do it.
Yep.
My preference is that.
from the-
because then that
By the way, we don't have to continue to watch that. We can just sort of leave if you want to or whatever, because like this goes on for fucking ages. But we can carry on for a bit because it's only 11. But I'm just saying, like, you know how me and you get pause in. This could take days.
I mean, I do actually have to be up at 6 a.m. tomorrow.
Oh, you
So
should probably
I-
go then. What the fuck? Why are you here?
I was enjoying raging at this.
Oh, okay. Well, you can stay for as long as you like, but if you have to be up at 6, where the fuck are you going at 6?
Scarborough.
Obviously. Why did I even ask that? Like that was that. Of course, it was going to be Scarborough. Naturally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That was a fair call. Because Scarborough Fair. Fuck me, I'm clever.
See what you did. See what you did there.
allows you to take any. Because the thing is, what we would like to do, ideally, what the government would certainly like to do, is to do what Reform UK say they would do, which is to pick up people, Border Force, pick up the people travelling in small boats. Some of them are not so small, mind you, but we know what we mean by small boats, and take them back to France. The government would love to do that.
Yeah, that's what we
But
used to
where do you take them back? If you have a processing centre there and you've got the permission of the French authorities to use it as such, that's where you take them back. So if you want to pick up people in a small boat and take them back to France, you have to have a facility to take them back
You're
to.
preaching to the converted. I completely agree with you on that. But my problem is, from the point
Have the Labour Party done that though?
Yeah, he's shilling for a party that don't do explicitly what he wants them to do on the explicit grounds that it would mean more asylum seekers.
Yeah, because like let's put that to the test. Say someone gets on a small boat now. How does the Labour government now deal with that? Because it can't take them to France because it doesn't have the say-so of the French government. So what the fuck does it do? Oh, it has to take them in, increase the numbers, and put them up in a fucking hotel because they've got nowhere else to put them. Except now there are even fewer hotels because they're being closed down by fucking Tory wankers using fucking lawfare, basically, to stop a policy that they started. Can anyone make any of this make sense? Because it doesn't.
No, it's all cope.
Yeah.
It's all cope.
point of view, the person who lives on the road that's full of potholes that's not being fixed, it looks like nothing's being done. And it's very well that they're fixing some other road that doesn't need fixing. Great. But it's not actually addressing the problem, and
Yeah,
it's not winning any votes for Labour. Like I say, everything that
No,
Labour's
it's not.
done in the last year and the month and the half, whatever, 22 days, 18 days, everything they've done so far that I can see has been a vote loser.
No.
Even the stuff that's been
Almost
good,
everything they've done is a vote
even
winner.
the stuff that they've done that's
What? Hang on. Everything they've done is a vote winner. Did I just hear this prick?
No.
even the stuff that's been
Almost
good,
everything they've done is a vote
even
winner.
the stuff-
Almost everything they've done is a vote winner. Okay, please do explain why, if the election was run now, you'd get no votes. Please, the floor
Look at
is
the votes
yours.
They're winning, chat. They're on 18 points in the polls, which is quite literally the lowest Labour Party have polled since the Second World War.
And that's without Jeremy Corbyn and the fucking, whatever, the People's Party of Judea or whatever, coming in and stealing more votes from them. Well, not stealing, legitimately taking votes from people who don't want to vote for these wankers, right? Yeah, they're fucked. If almost everything they've done is a vote winner, why have they not won any votes? Including, of course, potentially losing a vote in Parliament, which they had to backtrack on completely as well. They can't even win votes in their own 400 fucking seat Parliament. Brilliant.
that they've done that's good. That they haven't even been able to communicate that it's good to people, so no one's picked up on
again,
it.
that's a communication.
Yeah,
That's communication.
putting the minimum wage
As
up
soon
to
as it's there, you don't-
£12.21 an hour. Hardly anyone even knows that. They don't even know. I mean, it's never mind.
No,
Like they haven't noticed. They don't even know.
People on minimum wage notice they've got an extra grand a year.
Yeah, but that's a relatively small number of people. There aren't that many people. Well, I mean, there are quite a number of people. But firstly, they're the people least likely to vote. And secondly, what about the other 90% of the population? Or whatever, I don't know the exact numbers, but it's something like that.
I mean,
Look,
again,
it's
this-
just smug wankery. Oh, I think the people on minimum wage would notice. Yeah, like that's what he was talking about, you knob.
I mean, the problem, of course, is that whilst that will be good for them, I'm sure they'll be happy to see it. When you look at the NEISR's report on terms of fiscal policy, the only group of people with which standards of living are predicted to go down are those in the bottom 10%.
What,
There's going to be
surprise.
apparently a small, but at least an increase in the standards of living of middle and high earners. Is the bottom 10% who are going to continue to see their standards of living fall, and that's by like a soft left think tank. That's not the IEA. That's not the Centre for Policy Studies. That's not Ian Duncan Smith's new stupid things. That's from like a supposedly like progressive think tank that's supposed to be there about human well-being, and even they say you're going to make life worse for poor people. Basically because they're cutting welfare. Because they won't do welfare increases. And the best way that's ever been tried since the dawn of humanity for the poorest to see their living standards rise is having a more comprehensive welfare state.
Just not necessarily giving them. There's other things, right? There's other things in their life.
Yeah, like people coming across in small boats.
Like, well, no, I was actually thinking. No, I was actually thinking more in terms of, just like in America, they're focusing on the fact that the energy bill's gone up and the water bill's going up.
So
and stuff like
any kind of increase in their wages below inflation increase is not going to.
But it's not. They are still better off, but people.
Yeah, just tell them they're better off. That will definitely improve the fact that they feel very much not better off and are not better off. Brilliant.
Not many people write out their budgets. And the only reason I didn't used to. The only reason I do now is because I have to pay taxes. So I have to be a bit careful to make sure I've got enough money to pay the taxes.
We've got a couple of super chats come in. One Angry Pagan, thank you. I won't try to judge the next general election for 2 years yet. I mean, okay, that's fine, but this is a politics channel and we're going to talk politics. And I know that the general election's not for a while, but do you think I'm going to sit here and be quiet about the fact that I think Labour are heading in the wrong direction?
No,
in so many different areas. I mean, if it was just like one or two, I was like, oh, I'm not sure about that. But it's like the entire Labour ship is heading towards a fucking great big iceberg, and they all seem to be just sipping Chardonnay and dancing around.
What I would say is, if you want to look at the next election, you also have to look at what you know is coming online. Now, if you say, I don't think it's enough, that's fine. But you have to say why it's not enough, because you cannot pretend all this stuff isn't happening. Because you understand how legislation works. You know the Employment Rights Bill is still passing through Parliament. It's still a bill, right? You know that there's going to be a battle with the House.
Also, just a quick one, Phil. Don't bend your head down. It's not a good look. Just...
I mean, the thing is, like,
word from the wise.
No one's complaining about the Employment Rights Bill. Again, we've all admitted that it's probably the best piece of legislation that the government's done, right? Thank you, Andy McDonald, the guy who Keir Starmer tried to suspend from the party for saying between the river and the sea. Not from it was just talked about Israelis and Palestinians living between the river and the sea. That got him suspended, right? Almost had the whip removed, like almost got him removed as an MP, right? And he was the guy who basically was the progenitor of this workers' rights bill. I see no thanks for him, right? But regardless, no one's saying that this is. We just think in the totality of legislation, it's very difficult for you to say that this is going to be this thing that is the fulcrum on which Labour's electoral victory lies when everything else is hated.
Yeah. Why are people giving these wankers money? Well, that's a good question, but you know what's a more important question? Why aren't people giving us money? You can do it.
I mean, thank you for the Prime subs in chat. I do appreciate you, but yes, I would always appreciate more money. I do like money.
Money is necessary.
So a capitalist.
True.
Lords, because they're trying to water it down, and Angela Rayner's told them to fuck off, right? So they're not going to officially tell them to fuck off until until summer recess is over. And that's the point at which they have the vote to tell the House of Lords to fuck off. But
What's the bet they don't tell the House of Lords to fuck off? What's the bet they cave? Because that's where the pressure is, right? Business leaders don't want this.
that is coming online. The renters' rights bill is still passing through Parliament. That is coming online. We know, we've just had yesterday announced record numbers of amount of planning permission given to zero carbon energy, things like solar farms, wind projects, stuff like that. That is all leading to the plan to get 95% of our energy by 2030, which, okay, is a year after the election. But it's not like we have 50% renewable energy and then in 2030 suddenly it's 95%.
It'll build up.
It's gonna,
it'll build up.
That will build up.
And that's
same with
amazing.
housing. All of the, and you've got to take those into account. You don't take those into account.
Yeah, I do. I mean,
but how?
I feel like
it's also worth
there
pointing
is
out.
the hope.
It's also worth pointing out that the plan was to bring bills down by doing the green energy thing, and yet bills keep going up, and they're projected to continue to go up because the latest round of bids of the latest auction for contracts for offshore wind have like a higher strike price than what it currently is right now. It will come down, of course. It will. That's the maximum within the auction, right? But it's still much higher than it used to be to try and attract these bids from the private sector. I'm like, well, that's the problem, that you're relying on the private sector to do all of this, because they're going to hold the government to ransom. Like, they know that you're desperate to get this green energy stuff. They can just go, well, we won't wait until you've given us a contract for difference that's going to guarantee us £125 rather than £122, and just run this around ad infinitum.
Yep.
That Labour will do these things, and they'll make so many people's lives better. They'll create all these jobs, they'll build all these houses or renovate empty houses, let people live in them. They'll sort out the refugee problem by, putting a centre in. Okay, they won't, but whatever. The stuff that they are going to do. Now, I'm looking at what happened in America, right? So we had 4 years of turmoil under Trump, and then he had an insurrection against the Parliament building over there, and he stole secret documents, and he robbed, and he lied, and he cheated, he murdered, he raped. He's got away with it all. And the Democrats had it in their head that if they made people's lives a bit better, the results would speak for themselves, and they'll go, wow, it wasn't my life so much better under Biden than under Trump. And they kept on telling people that their lives were better, and the economy was doing better than ever before, and they'd tackle this. But people in their everyday life didn't see it. They just didn't see it. What they saw was the price of eggs going up.
Yeah, but there's Trump a couple of things there.
Off that.
There are multiple things that... So those are real worries, the fact that people did focus on the price of eggs, which is now way higher, by the way. And gas, which is also way higher, by the way. But
they also lost the trade war to penguins, so it's a good times. Thank you, Mellow Maggot, with a donation, and a sparkly horse emoji, which I didn't realise on my thing right the other day. Someone did, I think it might have been the same person. They put a sparkly horse unicorn emoji, and it just said sparkly horse emoji with rainbow hair or something on the and I read it from the thing, and it was just a description of the thing, so I thought they'd gone mad and just said that sentence, whereas it wasn't. It was an emoji that gets written out on the text. It's very strange.
Also, to confirm for Bufu Mike in chat, doesn't it go off the most expensive means of generation for energy? The strike price over Hinkley is obscene, negotiated by the Tories, I think. Well, that's how much people pay for their energy at home, is the most expensive energy that's being used at that time, based upon current levels of demand, right?
Yeah.
But the strike price is how much the grid pays to the private electricity company for the energy that they then transfer to the energy, to the retail. The energy retailers, who then also transfer, having taken their 2% fucking stake on top of that, to transfer to people's homes. Because this whole system is stupid, and all the different levels of privatization is just massive levels of inefficiency, and people taking surcharges on top for private shareholders. It's stupid, right? But fundamentally, the price is getting paid by the grid to have electricity supplied to it so that it can then supply it elsewhere, is what the strike price is. And that will determine how much the energy unit price is overall, based upon which bits are being used where, based upon demand.
Yeah. It's called a super sticker. Oh, yeah, that's the thing. Sorry, yeah. See, I'm bad at this. Although, you should be, I think, grateful compared to the... Curtis came on. I was on... Normal Island on Wednesday, right? and I did my newsy news bit, right? For the hour that we were on, the actual show. And then afterwards, Curtis came on. Like, he wasn't hosting the thing, he was just, like, backstage or whatever. And then he came on my stream. And I decided to use the filters that you get on the Google Hangout. And so I was a strawberry. Look, you can literally, and it makes your face a strawberry with your eyes and your mouth talking and stuff.
I did with people literally when you raided into me, they said, "Check out Kev's stream. He's a strawberry."
Yeah, and I was explaining Keynesian economics and how they, you know, the taking money at the height of a peak and then putting it in at the dip to narrow the curve to stop boom and bust. I was explaining that to him as a strawberry, and I can't help but feel that sums up the Kev's brand rather nicely. You know,
Absolutely.
explaining a thing, but also in a really silly and twatty way. So, I wonder why I don't get sponsorships.
Apart from
There
Raytheon,
are
of
also
course.
some
Well, apart from Raytheon, of course, yeah, which you get 10% off on your drone strikes.
key differences as well. The first of which, and I had this from a lot of American viewers who were sort of telling me ahead of the election, because they were very paranoid, just like you were, about it. Pessimistic is the word I'm actually meant to use, sorry. And
It's not paranoia if
actual
they're
fact-
really after you, Phil.
no, exactly. It's not paranoid if they really have to get you. Sorry, I meant pessimism was the word I actually meant to use. And what they were saying to me is that all the people were observing was they weren't comparing their standard of living.
I think this has
Last
gone
year.
past. I think where we can justify watching this because it's just about fucking America now.
yeah, they're just going to wank on about, oh, Donald Trump's bad, isn't he? Yeah, we know. Yeah.
And I do want to go to sleep.
That is fair enough, because you've got to be up. You're off to the bright lights of Scarborough.
Absolutely, I can lose at Magic and then go to the beach.
You won't lose at Magic, aren't you good? You've been abroad. Like, you've literally globe-trotted playing this card game, which is mental to me. I don't know how that works, but that's a thing.
I mean, I have.
Yeah.
I have, but you know.
You've been to separate continents. It's all
I mean,
I'll
we'll
say.
see.
You know,
We'll see.
or a separate continent. I don't know. Have you been to China? Do they do it in China?
No, it's only like mainland Europe and the United States is where I've travelled for Magic.
No, okay. We need to get her on the Brazilian tour.
Literally, there's people out there with signs saying "Come to Brazil, Helena."
Yeah. El Magicao. that's just racist, Kev. Well done. Anyway, yes. You could be Magicinio.
I can indeed. I can indeed. Are you continuing?
No, I'm not. No, I'm going to go to bed. No, actually, no, I might watch some baseball. I don't know. Anyway.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yes, everyone go and follow No Justice MTG on all of the platforms before she moves to Brazil and becomes the president after Lula.
I will do that. I will do so. And everyone go follow Kev. Kev1875 on most platforms and Floppy111 over on the YouTube.
Oh, for God's sake. I just instinctively, I saw your name on the thing and I was like, oh, I'll raid into No Justice. Like a cunt. Because, like, I'm literally talking to you. Anyway. I'll go over to some random geek on the YouTubes. Fuck me. I am a special person.
No, I'm going to head off to Alec Gunter on YouTube and Rap to Blue over on Twitch.
Yeah, we can do Raptor Blue. That's all good. Okie dokie, everyone. I'll be back tomorrow with probably something a little more planned, I think, maybe than this, but I don't know.
Yeah, because we're just a loose end when there's no.
Yeah, we need the lack of journalism to like bounce off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Take care, stay safe, and free Palestine, all the good stuff.
Yeah, free Palestine and all that, lad. Ah.
Goodbye. See you in a bit.
Bye.
Bye-bye.